Here is your podcast.
You know, I've been doing this show 9 years. In the beginning, it was great. I got to show up and just talk and leave. That was fantastic. But now Mex sends me this theme song, tells me to put my own voice in it. Lily shows up. She doesn't produce a goddamn thing. All she does is laugh, turn around, and go home. The only thing I don't wind up doing for this show is listen to it. That's your fucking job. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. You know, it's come to this, folks. It's been threatened for weeks. We've talked about it. We thought it could happen. By we, I mean me. You're included because you were listening, but I was the one saying, I was talking, you were hearing. You have ears, I have a mouth. Together we're one nose short of a Mr. Potato Head, but that's fine. Look at us combined into one big crazy. I was going to say starch ball, but I guess that works for potato. Starch ball. That's actually what the cavemen called them when they invented them. They said, "Oh, we've invented the starch ball," and it turned out to be a potato. It was a starch ball until I got to Ireland, and those fancy motherfuckers are like, you know what? Arr, arr, arr. A lot of Irish pirates over there, like the fucking starch ball turned into potato controversy. So here's the thing, folks. Real life has interfered this week. My life has sort of run away with me a little bit, and I am unfortunately, well, not unfortunately. I mean, we're all listening. You know what? It's fortunate for you guys. You're going to, instead of hearing me this week, you'll hear some of me like you're hearing me now, but you're going to hear old me. I'm bringing my past back into your present, and it makes sense, and I'll explain why. First of all, again, like I said, Lily's not here this week, as you can probably tell. She was in Las Vegas. And then I had some things come up that kept me away from the microphone for a while and all sorts of nonsense. But I'll be happy to fill you in on a lot of it next week. If you'll stick around, if you give me this mulligan. By the way, Mulligan, the Irishman that named the starch ball the potato. If you did not know that. His Mulligan stew is terrific. His Mulligantawny is not a big hit. So then he went to India and invented that there. Look at this guy all over the place. He's traipsing all over the globe inventing food. Fuck you, Mulligan. No wonder they came up with a phrase for your name, or with your name, about you, without you. Without you. All right. Is it Motley Crue, I think? Yeah, I think it is. So here's the thing, folks, as I yammer and babble, or yabble and bammer. Yammer and babble, yabble and bammer. Yeah, that works. As I Maria Bamford this all over your ears, let me tell you this. You're going to get a plug-a-palooza, and then we're going to give you a show that you love and enjoy, a show from the past, a voice from the past. It'll be Elvis Costello, perhaps, or Johnny Mathis. I don't know. But it'll be a show that we know and love. And I'll explain to you at the end here exactly which show it is. But let's do some plugs first for you guys. And, because why not? Why not plug and try to get you to spend your money on a guy who couldn't do a show this week? But it's a long, drawn out, it's not really a long story. Real life interfered. It happens sometimes. I apologize. But you know what? Every summer, shows put on a rerun. Fucking, you know what? Those sitcoms are 30 minutes each. They only do 22 episodes a year, and then they're off for an entire fucking summer. Look at that. Look at all the moving parts there, motherfuckers. What if I only put out 22 episodes and then took off an entire summer? You know what would happen? I would disappear into the ether because you guys would go, well, fuck that guy. There's a million other podcasts to fucking listen to. I can't do that. So instead, I try to bring you as much as I can. I do years, I do shows, I do a bunch. And, this won't even go against your year 9. This won't even be considered in this isn't even episode 35 or whatever the fuck we're up to. This will be episode Rainout, right? We'll call it Rainout, episode Rainout. I almost called the show that a few times, but now today for sure, we're going with episode Rainout. Plugs. Let's go with some plugs real quick. I will tell you this. You guys can get me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can email me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can find me at mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can look for me and locate me at Mike Schmidt. Shut up. Be my friend at Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. Go to Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy and be my pal there and follow me and look at all the retweets I'm doing about the hellscape that we live in now. And some original jokes occasionally, if I can fucking find the energy. I don't even want to get into that. Maybe next week we'll talk about that. So go to those places and find me. Remember that I'm at Instagram, Mike40YOB. I'm at Snapchat, that's Mike40YOB. And let's see, Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. And also, please, I will throw this in there. Remember that the Mike Schmidt YouTube channel, the 40-year-old boy YouTube channel, is alive and thriving. As a matter of fact, just today I put up some new content. I put up a new Thorgar and Yeep clip, an iMovie created by our great friend David Hernandez. And here's the thing. Go to the YouTube channel if you want to listen to older shows, including the one I'm playing right now. And I will tell you, The reason I'm playing the one I'm playing this time, well, I'll explain it at the end. Fuck it. But it's up on YouTube now, but I'll explain why it's going to be here later. Oh, fuck. Whatever the fuck. But go to the YouTube channel because we got a bunch of, in addition to older shows, I think we're up through year 3, possibly getting into year 4 now. Those are all posted. And then all fun iMovies that Mex made. Clips of me doing stand-up. Some old clips that we did from Lily's old house when we were recording in there. All that stuff's available, and if you watch it, it's fairly short, it's quick, it's funny. If you watch those, of course, we get revenue from those. But more importantly, if you subscribe, well, not more importantly, if you watch, I get revenue. But if you subscribe, it lets them know that people are watching, the channel is active, and, we're somebody to keep an eye on. We're a hitter. And I guess they increase the ads then. Now they don't only just give you the option to skip, then they'll have like 30-second ads that you have to watch, so it's a definite moneymaker. And I don't want to make you watch ads. I'm not that fucking guy. But I am the guy who wants to pay his electric bill and wants to stop driving people around the fucking city, who'd like to make comedy a career, and you guys can help me with that. So thank you, and I appreciate it. A lot of you people have already gone and subscribed. But go subscribe now. If you want to watch shows too, that's even better. It helps. But subscribing really gets the numbers up, and then we can kind of get that boost happening. So that's the YouTube channel. That's it. Go to YouTube and look for The 40-Year-Old Boy. You'll find me there. I don't know what the URL is. I think it's the 40-Year-Old Boy. It was Mike 40YOB, but we changed it because I didn't like the way that looked on the page. What the fuck? Who cares? So it's the 40-Year-Old Boy YouTube channel. Go check out clips, watch them, enjoy them, and also subscribe. That's kind of the cool thing. If you subscribe, because then I get to see you've subscribed, and it's fucking awesome. That's nice. I like to see that people are kind of jumping on board, like our friend Mille416. I'm making up a name. I know everybody's got a fucking weird name on YouTube. Nobody's just their real name. All right. Oh, I think I am. I think I'm Mike Schmidt, actually. Or I might be Mike 40YLB. Why am I yawning? Fuck. Or I might be 40YLB Mike. Who cares? I'm on YouTube. Go to the 40 Year Old Boy channel on there and subscribe. And I said find me at all those other places. Remember that David Hernandez is the guy who does all the artwork and the music for this show. You can get him at facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez. Be his friend. But if you'd like to buy some cool stuff from him, he's got Thorgar and Yeep paintings he's creating. They're used in the very same iFilm clips I've mentioned. iMovie, I apologize. If you want to do any of that stuff, go to artbydmh.com. He's got Gycons, he's got Valscapes, he's got the Thorgar and Yeep stuff. I think he probably still has a Jimi Hendrix laying around. Got a bunch of amazing stuff that he's created. If you want to get any of this stuff and throw it in a den or throw it in a lobby of your office building, or you want to throw it in your bedroom, you want to throw it on the ceiling above you, so when you're fucking working somebody, you can look up and see there's Jimi Hendrix staring down at you, or Thorgar and Yeep. I don't know how you run your life. Maybe you do that. Maybe you get some, you got some guys on top of you and you're thinking to yourself, oh, this is really grim. And then you look up and there's Thorgar and you're like, yeah, all right, here we go. time fucking for a waterfall. Let's take the Nestea plunge and get a splash going here, baby. Maybe Thorgar does it for you. I don't know. He's certainly muscular enough. He paints a lot of muscular barbarians. If you want to throw that on your ceiling and look up at it while you're getting worked by some half-assed dude that you found in a bar somewhere, then by all means, grab some oil paintings to take you to fucking Tuna Town. Tuna Town? Skin boat to Tuna Town. Did I say that in this show once? I said that a million years ago when I was like a kid in school. Taking the skin boat to Tuna Town. All right, so I apologize for that. I should edit that out because that's not worthy of this show at all. So look, there's Thorgar. He's on your ceiling. Buy him from Mex at artbydmh.com. Please remember that Ryan Dirks does all of the web stuff for the show. Go to facebook.com/Ryan Dirks if you want to be his pal, his friend. The producer of this show is Lily Von Stupp. She's not available right now. She was in Las Vegas, and she was not going to be here. And so we could not meet our twain, or the twain did not meet this weekend, or this week. But next week, I think we're going to be in the same room again, I hope. We'll see what happens, but it all depends. But you can go be her friend at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. But I think she's losing friends every day with the current political climate. If you want to go to facebook.com/Monday Night Teas, you can like that page because she runs that show there. You can follow her on several different Twitter accounts. Twitter.com/MNTs, Twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest, Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, and Twitter.com/Boobdini. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and ask her just how her new glasses are treating her. That's right. Mrs. One Eye got herself some new glasses. We went on a field trip together to go get glasses. I went to get glasses, and then I went to pick them up, and they put in sunglasses lenses instead of transition lenses, and I was fucking bummed. And but that's okay. In a couple of days, I'll have glasses. I'll be able to see everything clearly. I'll be Johnny Nash. I'll be see everything sharply. So go ahead and write her a note and ask her those kinds of things. And please remember, the Monday Night Tease is every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. Tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com. Go ahead and pick those up there. Like I said, go to facebook.com/Monday Night Tease and see all of the acts that are coming to town to play in the Monday Night Tease. If you want to see ladies that are naked, go to that page and see them, and they'll tell you about who's going to be naked and when and why you can see them there, and it's exciting. And also, please remember that on the Monday Night Tease, it's at the venue, I should say, the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. We have 2020. Now, I said we were dark in February. I lied. We are actually going February 13th, so that's 2 weeks, week and a half. February 13th is the show. Please come on and check it out. I know it's me and Chris Fairbanks will be there. Chris Fairbanks is extremely funny, very talented guy. He is going to be there with me and a player to be named later. I'm still working the horn, working the phones, trying to get somebody else to join us. But there will be 3 of us, me, Chris Fairbanks, and whatever talented person I'm able to score to come and join us on that Monday. But it'll be fantastic. Tickets are available at brownpapertickets.com. We don't have them. We don't have the Gold Star anymore because we lowered the ticket price. So get them at Brown Paper Tickets or get them at the door. They're a little more at the door, but what the hell? You're getting a little more show. That's what I say. we put forth extra effort for the people who actually buy the tickets at the door. If you buy them ahead of time, fuck that. You actually have to leave at the 17-minute mark. You don't get to see the 3 minutes of every act. However, if you pay full price at the door, full show. That's me knocking on a table. All right, so that exists. The YouTube channel exists. Please go subscribe. Please remember that MikeSchmidtComedy.com is always lurking. If you go on there, you can buy these shows I've talked about you downloading. Or listening to on YouTube if you want to buy them and take them with you. There's live stuff. There's, all the downloads. There's T-shirts still available. We have those. We've got Podfests. We've got the deal with tweakedaudio.com. Please remember, we also have our sponsor, Jerome, at getthebutters.com. Go to getthebutters.com. He's got bombs and balms and butters. Yeah, butters, balms, and bombs. Bath bombs, balms, and butters, and lubes, which needs to begin with L. He's got butters, balms, bombs, and bloobs. There you go. He's got those. So go pick up a bloob. Why not? Pick up a bloob, pick up a balm, pick up a bomb, pick up a bomb. Who put the bomb and the bomb? Who put the ram and the ram-a-lama ding-dong? I don't know who did, but you know what? He had to use a bloob to do it because that was a tight ram-a-lama ding-dong. So go pick those up. Please, from our friend Jerome at getthebutters.com. Use the code 40YOB to save yourself all kinds of cash and pick up a butter, a balm, a boob, or a bloob, or a butter, a balm, a bomb, butter, balm, bomb, bloob. Get those at Jerome's getthebutters.com. And our Amazon link is alive and well at the Mike Schmidt comedy page. It's also on all of the YouTube clips. If you see it lurking there, if you go, man, this guy's hilarious, I better buy something to wipe the tears off my face, it'll be right there for you in the YouTube comment section. But you can go to our website. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, our website. I'm apparently multiple personalities now. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and click on the Amazon link there on the Joe Business page. It'll take you to our store. If you want to peruse in there, go ahead. But if you don't, go to the upper left-hand corner and click through to Amazon itself, and then you'll be using our link, and you'll be shopping away. And, women be shopping. Oh, my God, women be shopping. Why don't you men join them? Men should be shopping, too, using our link. Men be shopping, women be shopping. We get money, they get money, you get stuff. It's a perfect deal. So go ahead and do that. Go use our Amazon link. Go to see getthebutters.com. Use the code 40YOB. Tweakedaudio.com. Use 40YOB. And then, of course, the cool-ass stuff on the webpage there and at the Joe Business page at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. And I think that covers all the sponsors and all the plugs and all the other stuff we had to tell you about. 2020 tickets on sale, me and Chris Fairbanks. All right, also, here, I will tell you this. So I know this show is short. Certainly, it's a greatest hits show. Certainly, there's a full. There will be a show in its entirety after me yammering here, after me Bamfording all over this fucking thing. But if you want to hear new me this week, I actually did Jordan Jesse Go with the lovely and talented, the lovely Jordan Morris, the talented Jesse Thorne. Not to say that Jesse Thorne isn't talented or lovely and Jordan Morris isn't talented or lovely. I didn't mean to ascribe one adjective. They're multiple adjective guys. They're hyphenates. They're lovely, talented Jesse Thorne, America's radio sweetheart. The lovely and talented Jordan Morris, boy detective. But they had me on the show this week, and it was fun. I had a good time in the hot box over there at Max Fun HQ. You can get that download and listen to that now. And when I was on the show, they were kind enough to let me talk about the YouTube channel and plug that a little bit. And, Gio, superfan Gio, who's doing all the YouTube slaving away, Superfan Geo. He's a guy who he's very complimentary to me and very nice to me. He's Superfan Geo, superfan of somebody else, not necessarily of me. But he always says that, this is the show you need to get people hooked on. It's finally up on YouTube. You need to use this one. So I talked about it on Jordan Jesse Go, and I mentioned that this was the show. It's episode 3. No, I'm sorry. It's year 3, episode 5. And I said, if this is, I've been recommended that this is the show to use to get people on board with the show itself. And at least Geo thinks so. Other people seem to think so. And so they want that to be, the deal. So I then received some emails who heard me on Jordan Jesse Go, and they said, oh man, that's totally great that that's on YouTube, but I'd really like to download this show and have it with me. Why aren't your old shows up available for download? And of course, in my head, I'm just like, well, fuck you. I mean, they've been available for download forever, but we sold them. We didn't keep them in the iTunes store because we took them down because we could sell them. It was a way to make some money. But now we've decided to put them out on YouTube and make money that way. And it just made me laugh that new people are like, oh man, how come your shows aren't there for download? Fuck, I'm putting them up. They're on YouTube now, for fuck's sake. Now they're free. I used to even charge. But that's just me because, me, black and white, I make it a bad thing with that they want to hear me. That's my favorite part. Hey, we really love that show. We'd love to download it. And I'm mad at them. Fuck you. Boo-hoo. It's up on YouTube. You're tearing me apart. So what I've decided to do, if I haven't chased those people away with that little fucking rant, hi, new people from Jordan Jesse Go, and hi, people who emailed me and said, hey, we'd really like to be able to download that show. Well, here's your chance. Oh, and before I do that, this is so fun. This is a ramp up I was just doing, and now I'm going to fucking cut it off because I'm an idiot. I got an email. Get this. I got an email from a guy named Eric. And a couple of weeks ago, when I opened Christmas presents at Lily's house, Eric sent me an envelope, and in it was a Never Not Funny CD. And he was like, hey, man, can you sign this for me? Because he had contacted me via email earlier. And I said, of course, just send it. So he sent it along. And I got to be honest, man, I opened the email 2 days ago, and it's from a guy named Eric. I don't even recognize it. And it just says, hey, Mike, been loving the show. And boy, is there any way, did you send that autograph back? And I'm like, oh, Mike, you are the fucking worst. The worst. You know why? Because I made the running bit with Jeff about his shirt, which, by the way, here it is right here. There's Jeff's shirt right here on my desk. And underneath it is the... And seriously, underneath it is the book for Mex that Jamie sent. And somewhere in this pile of this blizzard of paperwork and nonsense on my desk, I know is fucking Eric's Never Not Funny CD. I just put it in the pile. I'm like, all right, I got home and I put it down because I do the show and I forget my life and I just go ahead and drive people around or whatever the fuck I wind up doing or stare, sit in the dark. But fucking poor Eric. I'm sorry. If you're listening, dude, I'm sorry. I apologize, and it is already on the way. If you're hearing this now, well, no, that's a lie because you might be hearing this really early on Thursday. If you're, I guarantee you, it's in the mail Thursday. Okay, so it'll be in the mail by close of business tomorrow or today, which is Thursday. Now, will I send Jeff's shirt as well? I don't know. Perhaps not. I don't know if that guy deserves it. But Eric was kind enough to write me an email and be like, oh, Mike, if there's a way you could send it. I'm like, man, Mike, you're the fucking worst. So Eric was cool, and he will get his stuff. Jeff might, and then I got to send Mex's book. And I think there's a couple other, or there's like a guy named Rory bought something this week. Thank you, Rory. And who was the other guy? Camille? No, that was his last name. I can't say his last name. Fuck, idiot. All right. So, hi. So stuff will go out. And in the meantime, I was doing this ramp up to tell you that episode 5 of year 3 is what we're going to give you. And look, you don't have a cataloged idea of what every episode and every year was, I'm sure, in your brain. You're not like, oh, I remember that one. That's the one where Mike said dumb stuff. Although I guess that would cover pretty much all of them, actually. So here's what I will tell you. I'm going to play something. I'm going to finish here, and we're going to play a little something. And then it's going to take us right into episode 5, year 3. And I don't expect you to have a complete knowledge of what that means. I don't expect you to know an encyclopedic knowledge in your brain of which episode goes to which year and what's featured there's no table of contents, even though the show is more of a book than a movie. But I will tell you this, episode 5, year 3, I could tell you what it's about, but why should I reveal it? I'll just tell you who stars in it. I'll tell you who stars in it. Me, Lily, George, and Chuck. You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy. And coming up, who would win in a fight? A lively back and forth to determine who's tougher than who. This has to be a record because we're 3 in and already we agree on all 3. We both took Batman over Barney Miller.
Yes.
We both took the blind nun with the baseball bat against the 6-year-old boy with the loaded pistol.
Easily.
And for some reason, I don't know how this happened, we both took golf ball size hail to beat the Beach Boys.
Yes.
You had one you wanted to bring up.
Yes. 85 Roman gladiators, okay
sure.
Versus the 85 Bears.
Wow. Is this in hand-to-hand combat or is it in football?
Both.
Wow. You know what? I'm going to go 85 Bears both.
Really?
Bears are padded up. Well, wait. Do they have weapons, gladiators?
They have the short sword thing.
Oh, then Bears are finished. In combat. First, it all depends on what they play first. If they play football first, 85 Bears in a walk, unfortunately, they wind up getting their heads kicked in the battlefield.
Wait. I think the Romans actually have their swords during the football game.
Then that is a mess of a game, and I think that's one loss the Bears would take. Now, I really wanted to move on to this before anything else happened. Present-day Joe Frazier versus a giant stick of gum. The gloves are off and the dukes are up on Who Would Win in a Fight on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
What kind of gum?
Listen to me, motherfucker. I'm talking. I say horrible things sometimes because I think they're funny. My podcast is a verbal mosh pit because it's just me pinwheeling around. You don't know where the fuck I'm going to wind up, and I generally have no idea when it's going to end or start. I'm responsible for this whole goddamn thing. I want a little respect from you people. Hey, what's happening, Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. I'm clueless about this week. We've sat here now for 2 hours and 15 minutes, and I'm just usually you can tell when I don't know what the show's going to be because I start to put it off a little bit. I'll come here with Lily and I'll be like, "Hey, well, how you doing?" Not that I don't care, seriously. Not that I don't want to know how she's doing other times, but if I'm revving and ready to go, then I'll sit down and boom, there we have it. And but you didn't touch my nose. Well, how did we do the show without you touching my nose? They're disappointing. Lily's working on. Oh, don't put a lollipop on me. That would be horrible. No, I don't want sticky shit on my face. Not now, anyway. Certainly not in this context. That's fine. I mean, I don't mind sticky shit on my face, but right now, no, not while I'm doing a show, because it'll drive me fucking batshit. There's nothing worse than that. Like, you got that one sticky spot, and you're like, what am I going to do? All right, so, and by the way, I get to sit here and watch Lily work a Tootsie Pop the entire time, and she's incapable of eating it like a normal person. She has to eat it like a porn star, because she keeps giving me this look. She got her legs, like, crossed and dress on, and she keeps, like, eyeing me. Like, she got her head down at a 3/4 tilt, but looking up with her eyes, and then working it in and out of her mouth and spinning it around. And it's like, oh, dude. And she's not even, but that's the thing is, it's not like for me or for my benefit or because it's like, oh, look how sexy I am. It's just who she is. I mean, that's how she works a lollipop, Other people jam them all the way in their mouth. Other people just, Mr. Owl, ask Mr. Owl. He'll bite him after 5 licks. But I mean, I don't know. She's literally bound and determined to find out how many licks it's going to take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop. And not just licks. I'm talking demonstrative licks. All right. And I say that because I think in the background they could hear you smacking that. I'm not kidding. In the beginning of the show, listen back because you can hear her like, smacking this lollipop. So, all right. And that's right. I can see you. All right, because now she's self-conscious, of course, and covering her face up, which is fine. But she can't help it. I mean, that's just some people. That's how their mouth works. All right. Hi, folks. How are you? I'm Mike Schmidt. This is episode 5 of year 3 of the 40-year-old boy podcast, and this is episode 5 of 52. I think we'll see. Who knows? Lily's here. She's changed. I will tell you, the interior has changed. It was a Makita work table, and now it's the table that we used in her bedroom before. But we are still in the kitchen under the watchful eye of Ronald McDonald and the Flash. Eddie's a Flash guy, huh? Eddie likes the Flash. That's such a weird superhero to like. It would seem to me, because he's just fast. He's a fast dude. I mean, is there something complex about his personality that Eddie likes, or? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you questions, and you don't have a microphone. I'm stupid. All right.
I don't know.
I'm not a smart man. Hey, I got a poll for you folks. I'm going to ask you a question. And again, say it out loud in your car because I can hear you. If you're dating somebody or you're married to somebody and then you wind up splitting up with that person, do you think you should stay friends with their parents? Do you think that you should stay friends with their... I mean, because look, we all know if there's a breakup, your friends are put in a precarious position, and they got to determine who they're going to go with. And ideally, your friends are like, no, man, I'm still friends with everybody. That's cool. But inevitably, it turns out to not be the case because maybe one person winds up with somebody else, and that person resents the fact that person that you used to be friends with the other person. Who the fuck knows? I don't know. I don't want to get to too hairy into the bottom of it. But I ask because our friend Lily here is can I talk about this? Do you care?
I guess so.
Well, I mean, I won't. It's okay if you don't want me to. Because all right, when I was dating Karen, when I was just dating her, okay, this is before marriage, and then we wound up splitting up. I forget why we split up. We split up a couple of times, and
You're insane.
could be. It was definitely my fault. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But then we split up once. This was funny. And I moved out, like, because we were living together, and then I moved out, and I wound up moving back in with my brothers. And there's nothing better, folks, than when you've been living with three of your brothers in a 2-bedroom apartment, and sleeping on a futon while a cat claws your balls. Oh my God, is that fun? And then you leave and you go with your new girlfriend and you're like, hey, this is my new girlfriend and I love her. She's great. And we're all living together and everything's fine. And then shit hits the fan and you wind up having to move again. So you got to go back to your brother's house, which is what happened to me. And I moved out and Karen was, in the apartment by herself. So then I was at work one time at the pizza joint and I get a phone call and it's Karen's brother. And he asks for me and I said, I'll take the call. And he goes, hey, it's Mike, because his name was Mike. And I said, hey, what's up? And he's like, I'm calling to tell you to stay the fuck away from my sister. And I was like, well, I don't know if you got the message, but I moved out. I haven't been anywhere near your sister. I don't know why you'd call me to tell me that, Mike. And then he goes, no, fuck that. He goes, you've been seen by her at her apartment. She said that she saw you, and then someone keyed her fucking car. We know it was you. So I'm telling you, stay the fuck away from her and stay away from her car. And I think you folks know me, okay? So I'm taken aback by this accusation, quite frankly, and to the point where I'm like trying to be nice because I was friends with Mike because I was dating his sister. I was living with his sister. I mean, I knew the family. Everything was good. And so I said, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I haven't been over there. I haven't keyed anybody's car. I haven't done anything. And so now that's my second chance at bargaining and trying to be a human being about it. And then he goes, look, I'm just telling you, I'm gonna kick the shit out of you if you fucking go near my sister. And that's it. That's all I need is that, I gave you 2 chances to kind of scale it back and let's all be friends. And so I just went, look, you know where I work. You called me here. Why don't you fucking show up and I'll be happy to fucking meet you in the parking lot. You want to fucking kick my ass? Come kick my ass here because I'm going to be here till fucking 8 o'clock. And I slammed the phone down. When in reality, I was so mad I said that. I was only going to be there till 4 o'clock. I don't know why I said 8 o'clock at the time. It's because I was so fucking angry that I'm like, I'm going to be here till 8 o'clock. And then part of me's like, oh, damn it, I'm leaving at 4. That's going to suck. What if he shows up at 5? He's going to think I'm a pussy. So I had to actually stay there. I got off work at 4 and I stayed there till 8 o'clock to see if he would show up. I was going to fight my sister's, or my wife's brother in the parking lot. Because it was like, dude, I was so pissed because it was like, here's what I was pissed about. I was pissed that that they would accuse me of that, okay? Because I mean, the whole point was I loved Karen, but we had broken up and I had moved on, and it was time to move on. But B, it was like, dude, I'm not your fucking white trash asshole who's gonna go key somebody's car and peek in their fucking windows. I mean, I was thinking about marrying your sister for a while, and now you think I'm the guy who's gonna go key her fucking car because we broke up? No, It wasn't worth it to me. That was always the way it was with me when I would break up with somebody. It was like, whenever it would turn into an argument or a calling or he said, she said, and hanging up the phone, I was always like, no, man, I can't. It's not worth it to me. We're done. We're just done. I can't play this fucking game. We're finished. And it's so then we wound up getting back together, and then I got to see Mike at a family gathering, and he's like, hey, and I'm just like, I sorry, man, I can't get with being cool with him. Because he threatened to kick my fucking ass because he thought I did something. The fact, like I said, it was more the fact that they thought I would do that. That's what pissed me off more than anything. Because it's like, I'm not going to fucking do that. That's stupid. It's not worth it to me. And quite frankly, if I'm going to do anything, she's going to die. I'm going to murder her. It's like, I'm not going to fuck around with her car and spray paint Mike was here on her license plate. I mean, you're going to find her body somewhere. All right. If I'm going to be that mad that I'm going to be fucking moved to do something, that there's going to be a fucking wake, okay? And quite frankly, her brother's going with her. I'm gonna fucking take him out too, which isn't cool because he's actually he passed on. So I shouldn't say that about him. He's actually passed away. So I guess you know what? I guess the moral of the story, I get the last laugh. No, that's not. That's awful. All right, that's not. Terrible. I'm sorry. I take that back. Let's take that out. We should take that out, shouldn't we? All right, let's keep that in. All right. So awful, but I was so fucking angry. And did that make the garbage? All right, she finished her lollipop. She chewed it up, and now she's all right. So now there will be no more faux sex, unless you want to work. You can, it's good. Get more lollipop. You can work that water bottle too if you want. We'll move up in scale. Then I can start going, all right, then she can handle that, and she can handle that. So it's because Lollipop is small, so I'm like, all right, this is what she was like in junior high, and then you'll move up to, senior high, and then we'll see what you were like in the afterlife.
Tongues are smaller in junior high.
Aren't they? Depends on who you're with, I guess. Mine was.
Do they continue to grow with you as you get older?
Mine did. Yeah, I mean, it's maybe it just appeared bigger because he had more of a accoutrement with him. Maybe he had more accessories, but yeah. I certainly think my cock's bigger than it was when I was in junior high. All right. We'll have to ask the people who saw it in junior high. We'll have to call the guys I went to gym class with. So I guess in the many times that I broke up with Karen, a few times that I did, like she like called my mom, like to be friends with my mom, and my mom was still like friends with her, and I thought that was fucking crazy. Like, I mean, it didn't make any sense to me. Because I have friends who wound up either getting a divorce or wind up breaking up with somebody, and then they're mad that they're not still friends with the parents of the significant other. And I'm like, well, why would you want to be friends with them? You're going to show up and what? Have coffee and talk about the person you broke up with? It makes no sense to me. I don't get it. And people find it, they get really hurt by it. And I just don't get it. So it's a poll. I guess I ask you folks. If you break up with somebody, do you want anything to fucking do with them or their family at that point? No. I think the scab forms and you leave it on there. You don't want to be tearing the scab off every time you go have fucking tea with somebody's mom. Horrible. All right. Although I will say when Karen and I broke up, she and me and her mom got along really great. We used to hang out a lot. Please. Her mom wants nothing to do with me. All right. And good for her. Good on her. Nobody wants anything to do with me. I'm a voice in the wind. All right. Yeah, I don't know. It's funny. I was here last week, and Lily had bought cookies. She went and bought Toll House because she's within walking distance of Nestle's Toll House cookie house. And for some reason, she bought a dozen cookies at $2 a crack. Like, $24 on cookies. And they were those big, they're giant cookies, they're not just small ones. But she gave me 2 cookies. She's like, oh, take one home for you and one for Karen. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that. And she's like, no, seriously, please. We'll never eat them. There's so many of them. I said, all right. So she threw them in there. And guess what I had for lunch today? Because when I got home, they were in my bag. I never even remembered them. And then I opened my bag today to make sure I had everything to come over here, and boom, there they were, 2 giant cookies. All right, let's knock those down. I'm a healthy guy, folks, very healthy. And then I actually came here and I was like, now I'm mad because I thought you might have other cookies left, and they're not there. Because if you're giving away 2 at a time, of course, why would you have any? One time, my buddy Davo came to town, and I've talked about my buddy Jeff, and Jeff's brother Dave is Davo. So Davo came, and he was here for like 3 days, 4 days, I don't know, but I had to meet him for dinner. I'm like, dude, let's go to dinner. So we went to this place called the Arroyo Chop House in Pasadena. It's a steak joint, and I had never been, but I heard it was a real nice steakhouse, and that's what we wanted. So I said, all right, let's go. And I sat down, and I Tony Montana this dinner, where I just sat down and I started ordering shit. Like, it was this crazy, because again, it was at a time when I was flush and I was making some money. It was a few years ago, folks. And it was me, Karen, and Davo in the booth. And, he got his steak and Karen got her steak. I got my steak. But then I just started ordering sides, man. I'm like, hey, garlic mashed here, cream spinach there, shrimp cocktails for the 3 of us. And, what do you got? Double baked potato? I'll take 2 of those and 6 of these. And I started ordering. The fucking bill comes. It's like $360. I mean, this retarded amount of money. And you're in my town. I pay the bill. And, this is why I'm broke, folks. Because I also have a rule. If anybody comes to my town, I pay the bill. And it just happened a couple of weeks ago. Jeff came with his wife and kids. We went to sushi. And, it's my town. I'll take that. He can gulp. Trying to figure out how I can run out of my favorite sushi place without paying, or ask if I can pay it on installments. But Jeff brought his daughter. This is awesome. Jeff's daughter is, I think, she's 8, I think. 8, 15. I don't know. She's a kid. And but she's a child. She's very small. And I ordered. I went with Mex when I was home in Chicago, and we went to one of those places where the Chinese guy chops everything up, and the Benihana, kind of like that, where they're binging stuff and they're flipping it with the spatula and they're doing all that craziness. And we brought my godson and my Mex's daughter, who I consider my niece. We brought, it was Mex's family and me, and we got to watch that guy chopping shit and throwing everything in the air and salting it and whatever. And they had a sushi bar. So I said, I got to be crazy uncle and order the sushi bar food. So I did. So I ordered live sweet shrimp, which comes with the fried heads. And then I ordered octopus. and I forget, and I ordered some other thing like clam or something like that, and I ordered it, and then I made, the kids look at it, and I'm like, it's a shrimp head, and they're like, what? And I go, see his eyeballs, and then you eat it, and oh my God, no! And you horrify the kids, and you scare them, and they're like, oh, and they laugh, they think it's hilarious, and that's crazy Uncle Mike. Look what he did. So Jeff comes out with his family, and we go to the sushi bar, and I said, all right, well then here we go. This is what crazy Uncle Mike does. He orders some crazy food. So we ordered regular food for everybody, and then I got live sweet shrimp. And it works better if you're at the sushi bar because they can actually see them pull out the live shrimp. That was the one thing I regretted about Mex's kids. Like, they didn't get to see them pull the live shrimp out and rip his head off. That's great. But so I did it there, and I ordered live sweet shrimp at Katsuya, and it comes, and I said, see, look, I go, this is the shrimp's body, and there's his head. He was alive, and now they cooked him. So we're sitting there, and his 8-year-old daughter, I can see her eyeing it. She's like looking at the shrimp head. And not like gross, his son is like, oh, geez, like he's checked out. He wants nothing to do with it. But she's looking at it, and I can see her, and then I eat mine, and I crunch them up. And then I said to her, I go, you want to try that? And she goes, yeah. And she picks it up, and I said to her, I go, look, you got to be careful because it's pointy, because like when they fry it up, all the pinchers, and not the pinchers, like the antenna and all the stuff in the front, in the shrimp head, it gets hard. So I go, be careful when you crunch it. And she didn't even hesitate. It wasn't like she made a scary face. And she also wasn't trying to impress anybody. She legitimately wanted to bite it and see what it tasted like. I've never seen a kid that inquisitive or curious about that kind of food at that age. That's a lot of qualifiers in that sentence. And how many 8-year-olds am I having dinner with at the sushi bar? None. I mean, there could be, like, literally every 8-year-old could be that curious and inquisitive. I have no clue. But yeah, sure enough, she ate it, man. She ate a shrimp head, like a fried shrimp head that was with the eyeballs. And I told her, I even, when I bit it, I go, see that yellow part? That's the brain. I go, that tastes really good. And she, yep, just ate the whole fucking thing. It was genius. Even Karen, like, she passes on the shrimp heads. And then the fucking 8-year-old, boom, dove right into it. It was awesome. And I could not, like, I don't have kids, okay, and we're all better for it. Certainly the children are, I can tell you that. Because I'm enough of a child as it is that I don't need to have a fucking running partner who's littler than me, smaller than me. Littler? Oh, God, I truly am a child. Man, this has been a whiff, the opening however many minutes we've done. Here's the thing, folks. I can't lie to you because normally I come in and I have no game plan. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know where it's going to go, and I just talk downhill, and that's great. And then I hit some traction, and I maybe tell a story or whatever. And then afterwards, because I don't pigeonhole what I'm going to talk about. Like, I try to keep it open so whatever happens, happens. So, and then afterwards I call Max, and we talk about whatever painting he's going to do and what the artwork's going to be for that week's show. Well, this week Max is on vacation, just from my show. He's his real life is going on, but he's a dude. I need a week away from you. No, he's unavailable this week to do a picture. So he's done a ton of images in the past that I've never been able to use for the show, and I sometimes will go through them and I will, when he's not available in my mind. I will either because I will do the show and then afterwards I will go and pick out a picture that might match it, or I will try to match the content of the show to a picture. And that's what I'm trying to do this week. Is I'm trying to match the content. I'm trying to get to. I have a story that I know I'm going to tell. All right, and I never do that. I don't do that with this show because I want to go wherever the fuck my brain is going to take me. But I'm hindering myself because I don't want to tell a story that I don't have a picture for. Again, I'm fucking crazy, folks. All right, so I want the artwork to match the story. So I predetermined what story I was going to tell. All right, but I don't know how long that story is going to take. I mean, that story it could take 15 minutes. It could take 5 minutes. It could take, at this rate, it may not even get fucking told, quite frankly. But that's the thing is I don't like. So now I feel constrained. And it's stupid. It shouldn't be that way. I shouldn't be constrained. I should just be able to still talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about and then put whatever picture I want up and you guys will enjoy it. And I should just assume you're going to enjoy it. But here we are, year 3, 109 episodes in, and I still put these ridiculous fucking pressures on my shoulder about, oh, I got to do this. It's got to match. I got to be all squared away with that. And you'd think I'd let this stuff go because, quite frankly, I also wanted my website up and running by now. But I even told people, like, you people know who offered to be involved. I was like, I got a hard deadline of April 1st. Well, guess what? Guess what's coming up? May 1st. Yeah, that's right. And as soon as we're ready to go, we'll be ready to go. But unfortunately, dude, I don't know anything about websites except that I need a new one and that mine is being done and it's going to look awesome. But at the same time, when I get called with these little niggling details about, hey, what color is this? Or, hey, what did you want this to say? And it's so funny. Thank God for Kirk, my web guy, and for Dave, because they kind of keep me from going fucking crazy. Like, because they'll start hitting me with all this, hey, what if you thought about doing this and doing this? And I'm like, look, I don't want to stop the fucking train, all right? Because this should have been up a month ago, god damn it. But it's nobody's fault that it's not up. It's nobody's fault that it's not up yet. I'm excited about it. And that's the thing is I know because I want to talk about it, but I can't talk about it because I don't want to keep reminding you that it's not up because it just feels like such a fucking brick. Oh, man. You don't listen to the show. This is truly on the fucking couch time. Yeah, no kidding. 20 minutes of nothing. She just told me 20 minutes. She's like, 20 minutes. I'm like, yeah, 20 minutes of absolute fucking death. All right. I should deep fry my head like a goddamn shrimp head. Just fucking, get to the brain. That's the most delicious part. All right. So because of that, because I know what I'm going to talk about, like I've completely fucking, and also I will tell you, I started to talk about something in the beginning here, and it was a non-starter because I realized I'm talking about something out of school that I shouldn't be talking about, and it's not so that also threw me. You don't care. What do you care? All right. There was something else I was talking about, wasn't there? I was. Oh, Davo. So Davo comes to town. We spent all that money at the steakhouse, and then like a couple, like 2 nights later, just before he leaves. His brother was coming to town too, so then we were all going to meet and then hang out. Well, we went to Mrs. Fields. I don't even know why we were in West Hollywood. Oh, you know why? Because my wife did her standard fucking, hey, you're new here? Why don't I take you to see Jimmy Stewart's house tour? I mean, my wife is trapped in 1940. Like, nobody gives a fuck about Jimmy Stewart's house, but my wife, she's going to give Davo a tour of Beverly Hills. So we're driving, and she's like, oh, yeah, that's where Lucille Ball lives. No, she doesn't. She's been dead like 30 years. Just because she might have had toast in there one fucking time doesn't mean that anybody wants to see the goddamn building. Nobody gives a shit where Lucy lived or Jimmy Stewart lives. It reminds me of whenever I come here, I have to park at the Kodak Theater at the Hollywood and Highland Complex where the Kodak Theater is, and I see those zombie tourists with their I Love Hollywood t-shirts walking around taking pictures of the walls of a mall. I'm like, dude, isn't there anything better for you to go look at? Go bother the hobo in the Elmo costume. Jesus Christ, you're taking pictures of a wall. You're looking at a goddamn Rocky Mountain chocolate factory. They got them all over the goddamn place. Just because it's in Hollywood doesn't make it any different. Just because it's got a fake chocolate Academy Award in the window, you don't need to take a goddamn photo of it. I almost want to give them something to see when I'm there. You know what I mean? I want to just either hit somebody or start, doing stand-up, anything to go, look, this is unique to Hollywood, because where they're at now is not unique to Hollywood. Just because they take the facade of the Kodak Theater, they take a picture of it. Kodak Theater. You're not in it. You're not inside. Who cares if that's where the Oscars are? You're not inside there. Oh, Jesus. All right. So how did I get there? I was talking about people. Oh, dude, we went to Mrs. Fields, and we were in West Hollywood after the tour, and we looked at Jimmy Stewart's house and Lucille Ball. And let me tell you, folks, when you see the house of long-dead movie stars, you're definitely working up an appetite. So I don't even know why we stopped at Mrs. Fields, but Davo and I ran out, and we ran in, and we started ordering, like this girl, we go, hey, how much are cookies, and whatever they were. So we just started ordering cookies, and we went crazy. So it was funny because Lily last week is like, oh my God, at $1.80 a crack, I bought 12 cookies. I can't believe I spent all this money. And I was going to talk about this last week because of it, but I got sidetracked by whatever. And Davo and I, let's put it this way, both Davo and I had to carry out boxes. When we left, we spent $55 at Mrs. Fields. We just started ordering cookies and brownies. We're like, oh, dude, you got any peanut butter cookies? I'll take all of them. What do you got? What's that? What's it got? Walnuts? I don't like walnuts. Anything that's got regular. And we just started literally ordering everything at a Mrs. Fields for no reason. It's me, him, Karen, and Jeff's going to be there. And Jeff doesn't even like cookies. Like, it was like stupid. And, they came to the house and we, they sat there on the counter for like 2-3 days, and I would just constantly, but I was crazy fat, Mike, so I didn't care. I couldn't walk past a box of brownies without shoving one in my goddamn mouth. And $55 at Miss V. And that's like, listen, that was just straight cookies and brownies. It wasn't like we said, hey, do us a favor and decorate it and put We Love Cookies on or frosting, or it wasn't a special order. There was no ice cream cake. There was 3 milks. I can tell you that there were 3 milks because we powered through cookies in the car. Like we go running. Karen's, she's double parked waiting for us, and double parked. So she's out there for 7 minutes because as we just start going, give me this, give me that, give me this, and then we go walking out with these huge boxes of cookies. She's like, "What did you do?" We're like, "Trust me, you're gonna be very happy with this." I give her a milk. She's like, "No, I'm not happy at all." We ate 4 cookies apiece in the car. By the time we get home, we're like, "Oh, we're not hungry." Oh, just awful. And that's why to this day, I can't eat Mrs. Fields. We'll be in the mall. We'll walk past them. I can't. Plus, I like peanut butter cookies. Nobody makes peanut butter cookies right. Nobody. And nobody, not even you at home. Nobody makes, again, folks, you know my fascination for the peanut butter cake and peanut butter and jelly cake and peanut butter cookies. You know what tastes like peanut butter to me? Peanut butter. Like a Jif peanut butter. And also peanut butter crunch cereal. Oh, my God, I love that. All right, I'm fat.
Wait, what is a good peanut butter cookie?
That's what I'm saying. I have yet to find one. Like, when you were a kid, you know what? I want those ones that look like they have the fork things on the top, like when you cook them at your house. But even so, you know what? I don't like a hot peanut butter cookie because then it tastes like. Look, I have a lot of rules about cookies and so forth and baked goods. It's like when we go get hot donuts now at Krispy Kreme. If you're driving, you see the sign. I don't care for a hot donut. I don't need a hot donut. Because you know why? It's more of a mess than a convenience to eat a hot donut. It's not as tasty as it is messy. And I don't like messy. Again, as a fat guy, I think I've told you that, folks. First of all, I don't like a sticky spot on my face. We talked about that earlier. But I also don't like eating, as a fat guy, I don't like eating stuff that's messy because then everybody's like, oh, look at that fat guy licking his fingers. Oh, my God, is there anything worse? Anything worse than a fat dude with his thumb in his mouth? Oh, Jesus, that's awful. And I've been that guy, and I hate being that guy. And I've done it where, you'll be covered with, even worse when you go to like a barbecue joint and you're eating barbecue. And the thing is, you have to lick your fingers because otherwise you're going to burn through 1,000 napkins and put the place out of business, which is awful. This is death. Seriously, I mean, I might be falling down the stairs, but these are some long fucking stairs, folks. When's that landing on your feet and telling a fun story part happen? I can't find any goddamn traction. I'm just rolling down the fucking stairs. Just this bottomless pit, and I'm just like, just consistent, head over heels and ass over elbows and kettle over tea kettle. What is that? Ass over tea kettle? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck happened. You know why? Because my brain is shackled. I don't like when my brain is shackled, when I make myself do shit. And isn't that going to bode well for the one-man show, by the way? when I have self-imposed discipline and I make myself do something and, the one-man show, I just want to do this. I want to go up and fucking talk and be funny and tell stories. And now I'm like, trying to write the script for it and figure out what it's going to be. I'm still trying to figure out a title. I had a breakfast. I had breakfast with a guy who I was going to ask him about directing it and ask him about possibly, if he knew anybody he could refer. And boy, there's nothing weirder than talking to somebody who's never listened to the show, and you try to explain to them what it is, and he's a good guy and he's real funny and very talented. And he's a guy who's always thought I was funny. So that was why it was important to me to talk to him, because he got me on stage and thought I was funny. So I wanted to talk to him and see if he had any interest in at least listening to it and giving me some advice. And he said he'd consult on it. I don't think he's going to direct it, and he said he'd refer me to somebody. But we went to breakfast listen, dude, fuck delis. All right, let's go ahead and say that right now. We went to Art's Deli. Now I'm not a deli guy anyway. You know what I mean? Because it's like when you go to Jerry's. Because you know why? You go to a deli and they've got 400 things on the menu and they do none of them good. They're all done in a mediocre fashion. It's like, dude, the height of the sandwich is inversely proportional to the quality of the food. Let's put it that way. If you go to a deli, the taller the sandwich, the worse the food is going to be. All right. So we went to this joint. We went to Art's Deli, which is a mainstay. It's like on Ventura Boulevard, and it's it's so funny. I asked him where he wanted to go, and he's like, I said to him, I go, well, look, you're driving, so why don't you tell me where we're going? And he goes, I'm driving? I go, no, you're not driving. I mean, you're picking a place because I don't want to be that guy. I go, I asked you, so you pick. And he's like, all right, cool. So he picked Art's Deli, and I asked him about it later. He's like, oh, it's just a go-to. He goes, this is a benign place where you can just go. And I ordered a bowl of chicken noodle soup with kreplach, and then they had a starter. I will tell you this, they had a new starter on their menu, and it was a pastrami and corned beef sandwich served on potato pancakes. It wasn't on the tall bread. It wasn't, because I can't eat. This is the thing is, if I go to a deli with Karen, we order one sandwich and split it and then bring shit home. It's like I can't eat like I used to. So we ordered what it was 2 potato pancakes with pastrami and corned beef on it, and then they cut it in 4s. And it's not tall, it's not a super stack. It's just it's an appetizer. And then he ordered a side of wheat toast and a side of bacon and a cup of coffee. And I paid for this breakfast $31. $31 for a side of bacon, a side of toast, a fucking potato pancake sandwich, and a bowl of soup. $31. And it was I ate. It was funny. I ate the potato pancake thing, and I was like, "Oh, dude." I go. Do you want any of this? He's like, "No." I go, seriously, because if I was on death row, that's what I would tell them to bring me. Like it's. And I couldn't even finish it. I ate. It was cut into 4s, and I ate 2 squares of it. And I drank the chicken broth. That's all. I couldn't eat the crepe block because I can't eat. Again, my fat head orders fucking food that I can't eat. And this is just God. So why did I spiral into that? Because I dragged this guy out, and to talk to him about the fucking the one man and the more I think about it, like I said, I got to be disciplined and write it and all that stuff. By the way, it's in San Francisco. I think I've told you guys that. It'll be in San Francisco. And people have written me. And I had a nice lady ask me, she's like, "Hey, will you take pictures after the show?" Yes, I will. I don't know if she means she wants to take a picture with me or if she'd like me to take a photo of her with somebody. Perhaps I read it wrong. And by the way, there are people who've written me. I will also tell you this. If you've written me on Facebook and not heard back from me, you will hear back from me. The reason my Facebook inbox has taken kind of a backseat to my normal inbox because when my website is up and running, I don't know if I mentioned that, I have a website. And when it is finally done and ready to rock and roll and it is all up and running, we have to move my mail server. And in order to move my mail server, I have to answer all of the emails that are in that email on my present email server, so it has to be empty when we switch it over. So I just grabbed a fucking mail machete and I have been hacking through the inbox. So it's funny because people are getting responses from me from 8 months ago, and I'm trying to answer them, and and I'm caught up. I'm fairly caught up, but people keep writing me, and I don't. I don't mind if you keep writing me. That's fine. I think it's great. But so send me emails by all means. I'm not trying to discourage you, but you'll notice it's funny. If anybody writes me now, I answer you pretty quickly. And people, I got to be like, "Oh man, he always says he never fucking answers anybody." Well, no, I answer very quickly now because I'm trying to keep the goddamn server clear for when. Because again, I'm waiting for the magical phone call that says, "Dude, we're ready to switch everything over." Yes. Sadly, it has not come yet. So feel free to write me. You can sit in my fucking email box. But yeah, so that's what's going on is I'm cleaving through that, trying to get everybody answered at the expense of my Facebox. Facebox? That's a porn social networking site, Facebox. It's for a very specific fetish. So yeah, I at the expense of my Facebook email box, and I'm answering people there too. I'm trying to, but I will tell you, this woman wrote me to see if I would take photos, and I'm going to answer. I'll answer you here if you're listening. Yes, I will, but I'll also answer you via the email. And also, I will tell you that there was a couple that reached out to me on Facebook and said, "Hey, look, we have experience with one-man shows, and I guess the woman wound up doing her one-woman show, and he's like, any help you would need." We're willing to help, in addition to everybody else who's writing with their ideas and stuff. So please know that if you've written me and reached out to me, I will get back to you. It's just a matter of me trying to keep up with, because then when I did Never Not Funny, I got like 150 emails. So, I was trying to slog through those, and it was great. That was a lot of fun. And I also did Paul Goebel's 200th episode extravaganza, so I'm sure I'll get 2 emails from that in a month. Because nobody wants to write me. They want to write Paul and go, "Why'd you have Mike Schmidt on?" It's like that's what they're trying to figure out. So yeah. So I don't even know how I spun into this, but so I'm the one man is in progress, I guess. And any feedback, though, at the lunch? Oh yeah, the $80 at a fucking deli. But I don't even know why I spun into that too. Again, this is death. This is absolutely. Yeah, I hate shackling my fucking brain. I hate making myself do something. I wish I would just, like I said, because I will tell you this. There were 2 things that happened in the news this week that reminded me of things that have happened to me, and I was going to tell a story around them. I'm like, oh, that'll be awesome. But I don't have a picture that matches those goddamn stories. So now I have to tell a story that matches a specific picture that I also have in my handy dandy go-to picture box. Picture box. Picture box is a very close relative of face box, which is also a picture box. You think Facebox is a specific fetish? Picture box, an unbelievably specific fetish. Some guy sent me an email with porn in it, and he's like, and he goes, dude, I'm just telling you, this is horrifying. You have to look at it, and I won't give the address. But suffice it to say, it was somebody with a cup. Okay, there's that 2 girls, 1 cup, something like that. And I wrote him back and I said, look, I appreciate the effort, but I have to tell you that I am not watching this, and I'm very comfortable to say that I will never see this. Because I have seen a lot of horrible porn, and I will continue to see horrible porn, but I will tell you that I have no interest in ever seeing any number of people and whatever amount of cups they may have. I don't want to see it because I know nothing good can come of it. It's just terrible. And he wrote me, he's like, yeah, man, you know what? Good point. It's really terrible. You don't want to see it. And then he describes what it was in the following paragraph. He tells me exactly what happened. He's like, yeah, I don't blame you, man. You don't want to see this because here's what happens. And suffice it that I had already Googled it to find out, what it was. So, and I knew it was, but like I said, I've never seen 2 girls, 1 cup. I don't want to see anybody with a cup. I don't want to see anybody at all with a cup because I know that what they're doing is not anything that's going to be productive. I don't want to see them doing those things and filming it. Your cup, your camera, your wombat, your fucking elk. I don't care. It's bad enough I got to go on to 4chan and see, people like throwing up, hey, anybody know where I can find more like this? And it's like, no. Yeah, prison. That's where you can find more like that. As people put up the most horrifying images in the world of Tub Girl. Don't look up Tub Girl. There's a woman who looked up Goatsy when I said Goatsy, and she wrote me, she's like, oh, why did you say that? I go, I told you, don't look it up. She goes, I don't care, I had to look it up. Don't look up Tub Girl. Yeah, but because I actually I haven't been in 4chan in like months. I haven't been there since last summer maybe, because after I gave them a week, literally a week where I was just frozen on 4chan staring at stuff, I said, that's it, I'm done. But then a guy wrote me an email, and it just says, you're internet famous. So I open it up, and the guy goes, dude, you've arrived. Your picture was on 4chan. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And he had the image that I opened it up. He goes, and he had a link to it. And he goes, I have no idea if you're still there, but just know that you started a thread. And I opened it up, and what it was a promotional still from basketball. And it was the one they used in Entertainment Weekly because I was actually in Entertainment Weekly. It was the picture of it's Matt and Trey in the foreground talking, and I'm in the background holding a basketball waiting to shoot, and then they're going to make fun of me. But that was the picture on 4chan. So I'm like, dude, that's, because nobody knew it was me then, but it was like I was, in the picture on 4chan. So I immediately clicked the link to go to 4chan, and then it's, 404 not found, which is disappointing. But, I'm here at 4chan. I might as well see what's going on. 5 hours later, as I keep hitting B and refreshing it, and then going to S and R, and then the GIFs, and you're sitting there like, oh, God, how many more meat spins can I sit through tonight? Well, probably one more. Dude, horrible. Just don't go to 4chan. You'll get swallowed up. It's like it's like that the planet in Star Wars that Jabba was kicking people into, that just where the desert opens up and the whole planet is a mouth. That's 4chan. You just fucking leap in there, and it's like, what it is? It's like a never-ending flight of stairs that you're falling down. But periodically, you see Pedo Bear, and he tries to help you up. You know what I mean? That's what fucking 4chan is.
Hi, this is AM radio superstar Brian Noonan. Yeah, I said superstar. You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. This is Mike's 4th year of podcasting, 3 hosting his own show, and 1 year on a show that people actually enjoyed. Man, what a track record.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, who would win in a fight? 2 guys in combat over combat. I have picked some terrible topics today because we've agreed, and we've agreed quickly on all 3.
Yes.
We both took the Archangel Gabriel versus middleweight champion Kelly Pavlik.
Yes.
We both took Roseanne with the bow and arrow against Rosie O'Donnell with the dart gun.
Easily.
And we both took SpongeBob against the ShamWow.
Yes.
So please, save me. What do you got for me?
Okay, category is gang fights.
Okay.
Okay, we've got the T-Birds from Grease
All right.
versus the Jets from West Side Story.
Oh, man, that's an awful fight. There's not a tough guy in the bunch, I don't
Well,
think.
it's kind of like a fight and then a dance, kind of a
Oh, they're fighting and dancing?
Sure.
Well, then I go T-Birds because Travolta can do both. Danny Zuko's tough and he can dance.
Now, Russ Tamlin, he can do a backflip.
You know what? I'm calling it a gay draw. I say we move on. And
Okay.
you know what? I got one. How about an 8-fanged snake against a skunk that sprays cancer? The final word on who beats who. Who would win in a fight? on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
Does cancer smell?
The perils of lag time between the people on the podcasting network putting together their ads, because you may have heard on that last ad they mentioned middleweight champion of the world Kelly Pavlik, no longer middleweight champion of the world, and I can't get those guys together. Those guys are out of town, so I can't get them in the studio to re-record that. So it's the Who Would Win in a Fight guys. Which again, it's very difficult for me to get all the podcast people into one room, which you probably know. We had to we were able to do it for the interlude, which was nice, but after that, yeah, it's everybody goes their own way, and I'm lucky that Lily gets to juggle it. Everybody sends their MP3s, and Lily's able to hone them down. And well, you guys know, you listen to all the shows, all right. So that's one of the problems of that, because in their promo there, they mentioned middleweight champion Kelly Pavlik, and he's no longer the middleweight champion of the world. So sorry, fellas. So I guess if you were to pick who would win in a fight, middleweight champion of the world Kelly Pavlik or Sergio Martinez, you would have had to pick Sergio Martinez because he defeated middleweight champion of the world Kelly Pavlik and ruined your promo. Good for you. But that's okay. We have the quarterly meeting coming up, so I'll talk to them about it then. That guy on Who Would Win in a Fight sounds a lot like me. I like to get people on the podcast network who sound like me. That's what I like about them. Is some people that you can hear their voices are so different, and then in some of them it's like they don't even make an effort. They just sound just like me. It's weird. But that's fine. I mean, I can't quarrel because, folks, if there's anything we can agree on, it's the fact that I have a great voice. All right, you can hear it right there. Listen to the personality I'm bringing just to this very sentence. Oh man, I'm good. All right, you know what? Let's get to the story that matches the photo. And it's not a photo; it's a painting. If it was a photo, what if it was a photo? Oh my God, that'd be. If I had a photo of this story, that would be incredible. All right, but why don't you be the judge of that? I'll tell you the story first. All right, when I was a kid, folks, and by a kid I mean I was in high school. It was, or what are we at? 40 minutes? All right. All right. Well, I look forward to this story being done by the 44-minute mark. When I was a kid, I was in high school, and I think I've mentioned to you folks that I went to 5 years of high school, 4 years where I was supposed to go to, and then I threw on a bonus year for no good reason. I was like, the best years of your life, I'm not leaving. I'm going to go ahead and extend these as much as I can. And you look at it now, and you're like, oh, pathetic. God, I would have, but I did it in a jovial manner. Like, I wasn't like a pathetic burnout guy who like failed. I was a guy, I mean, they enjoyed having me around. Does that sound stupid? It does. I got along well with teachers, and they were really nice, and everybody liked me. It's just for some reason I was the one person in America they decided they weren't going to just pass through the sausage factory. A lot of sausage talk now. You know why? Because Karen's stopping at Portillo's and bringing home combos tonight, and I'm very excited about that. All right, I'm fat, folks. I'm back to looking forward to food and stuff. Everything's got to change, and it will. I'll let you know in a few weeks. So when I was a kid, like I wasn't. Everybody else in high school, it doesn't matter what you did, or they were like, fuck, rubber stamp, get him the fuck out of here. But for some reason, they made an example of me and made me stay. Again, that could be because everybody else was like within a half a credit of graduating. I might have been, within 7. I mean, I didn't do any work in school, man. I just pissed around and did nothing, and took 4 lunches and 3 gym classes, and enjoyed it. That was the thing. I wasn't like just this dick about it. And it wasn't a secret. Like the teachers kind of knew. I was like a raconteur in school, but they were just like whistling past the graveyard. Like they were like, oh man, we like you, Mike, but yeah, you're fucking yourself up here. But I never had anybody who actually sat me down and said that. Not that it would have changed anything. What the fuck? But I mean, even at home, like my mom was working, she was busy doing her thing, and my dad was busy dead, and so there was nobody to sit me down and go, dude, you're fucking up. Which I see now, at the age of 42, and I realize how badly I've fucking made a mess of everything. And you wish you could go back and try it again. But then there's no guarantee that if I went back and tried it again, I wouldn't be just the same fuck up. Just going back and going, yeah. You know what? It's now because you've got all this wisdom, you're like, fuck, I wish I knew then what I know now. But then what if you went back to then, and then you were like, hey, turns out I actually like lunch and dodgeball. I mean, this is fun. Why would I do math now? I didn't do math before, so now I've gone back in time to experience this and what? And do math? No, that's not fucking happening. I'm going back in time to relive the days of lunches and intramural hoops. That's what I'm going to do. God, I can't even imagine going back because if you went back to, especially now, again, it's a generation of people who all think they're owed something. I'd be fighting everybody. I'm not that I'm not now. All right, so whatever. So when I was at school, it was the mid-'80s, and I was in school from like 1980 to 1984. That's when I was supposed to leave, was 1984. Then I said, fuck it, I'm going to stick around for 1985. Well, that school year started in, August of 84. That's when it starts, or September of 84, and then it goes through to people graduating in 85. So early in the school year, like it was October, I think, of 84, they announced that Ronald Reagan was going to be coming to our school to talk to an assembly. And as much of a goof as I was, I realized that this was going to be kind of like historical, so I really wanted to go and I wanted to see it. So I was excited that it was going to happen, and I think I was like to the point where I was even going to like lead cheers, like in the audience, like chanting Reagan. I mean, I was like one of those stupid idiots who needed attention. I'm like, oh, I've got plans. I got big plans. No, you don't have any plans, idiot. They're going to sit on you and your troublemaking nonsense and make sure Reagan gets in and out of here without there being a fucking problem. So I was like, at the same time, I was willing. I just wanted to be there, honestly, because I knew I was enough of a news junkie kid that I knew it was a big deal. The President of the United States was coming to our school to address the student body. It was amazing. Well, by this time, when I was in school, my younger brother, Glenn, was in the high school with me. All right, because I had been in with my older brother Lenny, and then there was enough of a separation between me and Glenn where we were never in the same school. But now he was a freshman while I was a fifth-year senior. And Glenn was a handful as a kid, whereas I was like a charming handful. Glenn was that kid that people were worried about. All right, because he had a malevolent streak to him, and things have changed. He's grown up now. Everything's fine. He's got children, and everything's happy, and he doesn't listen, so that's fine. But as a kid, he liked drugs a little bit, and he hung out with these like. He hung out with the worst guys ever. He hung out with this guy, Don, and another guy named Fred. Well, Fred was, and Glenn was a Satanist. I will tell you this, too. Glenn at the time, I think at the time he was a Satanist or he was playing Satanist, but he was friends with this guy, Fred, who we called Durf. Because his name backwards was Durf, and he was a Satanist, so of course everything had to be backwards, and me and my friends would make fun of him. It was horrible. So Glenn ran with those guys, and I liked Don. Don was a good kid. Don and Glenn were, they were just... You know what they were? They were the guys who wore parkas in July. You know who those guys are? Just guys who got stoned and wanted to play D&D, and they wanted nothing to do with anybody. They didn't care about being cool. That was the antithesis of me and Glenn growing up. I loved sports, and I loved the social aspect of school. Glenn kept to himself. Glenn liked drugs, and he had his 3 friends, and he played D&D, and that's who he was. So we tormented him as a kid. I'm not going to lie to you. He was the middle kid of 5. So my older brother and I were fucking evil to Glenn. We were horrible. I fucking hate it. As I look back at it now, it's just terrible when I realize how fucking awful we were to him. We just because he didn't like, why? Because he didn't like baseball? If I knew then what I know now, I would go back and, you know what I would do? I would go back and I would still fucking kick Glenn's ass because I'm an idiot. I don't learn. I would never bring any of the acquired knowledge I have in my older years and bring it back and apply it in a welcoming fashion as a child. No, I wouldn't. I'd just go back and it would be another reason for me to beat Glenn's ass. Terrible. So, and Glenn, I should say Glenn wasn't a pussy. Glenn could handle himself, but I just had older brother strength over him. You know what I mean? Just like Lenny had over me. I couldn't fight my older brother Lenny. He would kick the shit out of me, and I couldn't even bring myself to hit him. It was weird because he was like my older brother. I got over that in about 10 years. Once I got to be fucking 25 and they had to fucking drag me off of him. But that's another story. All right, so I might have told that story. Did I tell that story? I think I did, yeah. Yeah, I was going to kill him. All right, so anyway, Glenn's in school with me. And when they announced that Ronald Reagan's coming, it's a big deal. And everybody's like, oh, this is cool. And we knew a few days beforehand, or a week beforehand. So it was going to be a big deal. And they were getting the school ready, and they're cleaning it and doing whatever the fuck they have to do. I have no idea. And again, I'm getting my grandiose plans to do the wave for Reagan. I don't know, just like anything to draw attention to myself because I'm an idiot. And over the next few days, I should tell you that the dean at this time is a guy named Ken Sorick, Mr. Sorick. Sordick. Dean Sordick. Stupid. So Sorick, I should tell you, he isn't fooled by me. Like he sees through my nonsense, all right? He doesn't, he doesn't think it's cool that I'm just kind of skating through, and I don't care that I get internal, and I don't care that I just keep ditching class, and he's infuriated by it. Like he's the he's the Dean Wormer of my personal Animal House. I'm like Lutarski. I'm blowing through the hallways and doing whatever the fuck I want, blissfully unaware. I'm ruining my own life, of course. Please, let's not get that twisted. I am completely ruining everything. And yet I'm having a pretty good time doing it because nobody set me down and told me any fucking different. And but he hates me. He can't stand the fact that I'm like drifting through life. And I will also tell you, he's not a fan of Glenn either because Glenn is, kind of a fucking troublemaking misfit. So days pass, and 2 days before Reagan's coming, Glenn tells me after school that Dean Sorek has told him that he is going to be suspended for the Ronald Reagan visit, and he's not allowed to come to school. And I'm like, what do you mean you're suspended? Like, and what it was basically was they were trying to get rid of troublemakers. Like they didn't want people to be in the school when Reagan came. So first of all, how am I even getting to attend? I have no idea how I came in under the radar. I guess they realized that I wasn't really trouble. I was fucking myself up, not anything else. But supposedly, a kid had told the office that my brother Glenn, when they announced at the assembly that Reagan was coming, that my brother Glenn had made a gun motion with his fingers and went bang, bang. That was what they said my brother Glenn had done, and so they were going to keep him from coming to the school. They were suspending him for his safety and apparently the president's. What a fucking ludicrous thing to say, but it's true. That's what they tried to say. So, Glenn can't come to school. Now, I hear this, and again, folks, because I am full of rage and anger, and I also make everything about me, I immediately go, no, you're coming to school that day. You're not missing this. This is fucking history. And Glenn goes, I don't give a shit about history. Like, Glenn didn't care. He doesn't want to be there. Quite frankly, for him, it's a day off school. He's happy. And I go, well, did you do that? And he goes, what? I go, did you say bang, bang and put your fingers up? And he goes, no, of course I didn't do that. Now, again, he might have. I have no idea, but it's good enough for me that my little brother said he didn't do it, and I go, fuck it, you're going to this. He's like, I can't, dude. They're telling me. I go, dude, trust me. You're going. You can't miss it. It's history. He goes, I don't care about history. I'm happy to take the day off. I don't want to go to school because they also, I think Durf and Don also got whacked, and they couldn't come to school either. And so they his whole little D&D drug doing posse has been booted. I don't know if Durf held up a knife and went stab, stab, and Don had put his fingers in his ears and went kablooey. I don't know what they did. I don't know what fake nonsense they're hanging on those two, but they're also suspended and they can't come to school. So I'm like, well, fuck this, Glenn. You're coming to school with me. So the day comes where it's gonna, Reagan's gonna be there, and Glenn is like, he's up in the morning. Glenn, you're coming with me to school. He goes, I'm not coming. And I go, Glenn, trust me. Just come with me. I'll take care of it. I don't know what I thought I was going to do to take care of it, but he's like, all right. So he came to school with me. So we went to school. I said, you can't miss this. It's history. You got to come with me because now I have a cause. Again, you guys know that if anything, I am tilting at fucking windmills all the time. So this time I'm ready to do it. I'm like, this is my cause. So I show up at the school and Glenn comes walking in and a teacher sees Glenn and immediately says, dude, you need to go to, no, he doesn't say dude because he's a teacher, but he says, you need to go to the dean's office right now. And Glenn's like, well, I'm just going to go. And then he's like, no, you need to go. And I go, no, he's fine. He's going with me. And the teacher's like, no, I don't know what you think you're doing, but you shouldn't be. And he's like, no. I said, no, it's fine. He's going to come in. He's going to sit with me. Everything's going to be fine. Because I was going to just bring him into the assembly and make him sit with me and we'd be fine. Now, again, I don't know why I thought I had some weird authority in this instance. But it's mainly because I hated Sorek, and I couldn't stand the fact that Sorek was doing this to Glenn, this bullshit that they were trying to hang on him. And so again, I'm fighting for nothing. No one cares. I'm the only one who cares. I'm making it a big deal. Glenn didn't even want to be there. So the guy goes, "You need to go to the dean's office. If you go into the gym, I'll have you removed. You need to go to the dean's office." And what's funny too is if you look at it now, like nowadays. I have to think that they wouldn't have even fucked around. Like they would have tackled us immediately and thrown us in a goddamn meat wagon and driven us off and arrested us for causing a disturbance. I don't even know how I was able to get into the fucking school with Glenn. But we went to the dean's office, and when we walked in, Sorek. I got to tell you, this guy had a rat face. I was just not a fan of this dude. I mean, he had like really like a long. He looked like Templeton the rat from Charlotte's Web. That long weird face. He didn't talk like Paul Lynde, but he had like a pointy nose, and he just did not. Oh, I hated him. I fucking hated him. And he comes storming out of his office. He goes, "What are you doing here?" And he goes, you aren't allowed. You're suspended. You need to go get off school grounds right now. I go, he's fine. He's with me. And Sorek looks at me and he goes, what are you talking about? He's with you. He's suspended. He shouldn't even be here. And I said, it's fine. He's going to be okay. He's with me. Don't worry about it. You got a lot of other things to worry about. I'm talking to the dean like this. I'm acting like I have some sort of authority or any. I don't know why the fuck I did it. I just did because I hated Sorek, and it just. So he grabs Glenn. He grabs Glenn by the arm and he goes, you're leaving right now. And he goes to pull Glenn, and I grab Glenn's other arm. And I go, he's not going anywhere. And Sorek goes, he's leaving right now. And he goes to pull Glenn, and I pull Glenn hard. And when I pull Glenn yanks Sorek, and Sorek trips over his own feet and falls on the ground. In an office full of people. So people who aren't really seeing it, out of the corner of their eye, all they see is me make a movement and Sorek hits the ground. So they jump up to their feet and they go, "Did you just hit Mr. Dean Sorek?" And I go, "No, I didn't do anything. He's grabbing Glenn. Look at him. He won't take his hands off my brother. You put your hands on my brother. I'm not going to let you drag him out of here." And Sorek stands up and he just goes, "Enough." And he looks at me and he goes, "Do you want me to call the police?" I go, "The police are here. The president's going to be here in a half an hour." And he goes, "You know what? You need to go right now. You need to get out of here." And he looks at Glenn and he goes, "You go to internal." Which means that Glenn is going to stay on school grounds, but they're going to keep him locked in a room where they can keep an eye on him. And which is, I'm very familiar with internal. I used to be there all the time. So I look at Glenn and I go, "Are you okay with that?" I don't know why I thought I had any authority to overrule this guy. What's Glenn going to say? And Glenn's just like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Like, Sorek's still holding one arm. I'm holding Glenn's other arm. And Sorek is like, "You're going to internal." He goes, "You get out. I'll deal with you later." So he boots me. And we walk out. He walks Glenn down to internal, and I follow them. I go to make sure that Glenn goes to internal because I want to make sure they're not going to kick him out of school because I don't know what I would do at that point. Tackle them? What am I don't... Again, I don't know why I have this weird fucking sense of entitlement. But think about it. Again, literally in an hour downstairs, the President of the United States is going to be here. He's going to land in a helicopter and give a speech. So they take Glenn to internal. I go down to the assembly. And I take my place, and I'm there. I'm actually in there when the press corps comes in, and the president comes in and talks to us. It's amazing. We give him a football jersey for the school, and it's so great. I got to admit, it was really a fun, amazing experience to be 17, and the president comes to talk to you. Whether you find out later the president's a dipshit or not, or at that point you don't even think about, partisan this or Republican that. It's just the goddamn president, and he's coming to my high school where he's in the gym where I'm at 3 or 4 times a day taking gym class. So it's amazing. So he gives a speech. It's a short speech for an hour. He's there with the press corps, and then they leave. And the helicopters literally landed on the football field. We watch him take off, and then everybody drifts away, and they go to class. And I think I don't remember if we had to go to class. I think we did go to class, but it was all just to talk about the president. Like literally the rest of the school day was just normal, but everybody was talking about what an amazing thing had just happened. So at the end of the school day, I go to internal, and Glenn leaves, and we split, and we go home. And he's like, "Well, how was it?" And I go, "Oh, it was great, dude." He's like, again, he does not care. So we split. And the next day I come to school, and I go to first period, and I get called to the dean's office. And I have to go see Dean Sorek. So I go in to see Sorek. And when I go in there, the assistant principal, the vice principal, and the principal are in there as well. And it's Catalani, and I think Mr. Daimler was in there too, whatever. It's a bunch of school administration guys. And they want to know what happened because people are telling them that I hit Mr. Sorek. And I'm like, "No, I didn't hit him. He grabbed Glenn first." And Sorek is sitting there. He's not saying anything. And I said, "He grabbed my brother, Glenn, and he's trying to drag him out of the school. And they go, well, wasn't he suspended? I said, yeah, but he was suspended for some nothing thing that they made up. He didn't do it. And they go, were you there? Do you know that he didn't do it? I go, my brother told me he didn't do it, so I mean that's good enough for me. And they go, yeah, but we're the administration. We suspend a guy, he's suspended. I mean, you know, if your parents want to talk about it, that's fine, but you're a student. You have no right to even, you shouldn't have ever even brought him here. I said, well, fine, but he doesn't have the right to put his hands on him. And then he goes to drag him out of the room. So then I grabbed Glenn by the arm, and when I pulled Glenn, Mr. Sorek fell on the ground. And Mr. Sorek's still not saying anything. He's just sitting there. And they go, well, we've talked it over with Mr. Sorek, and he said that you didn't hit him, but he did say that what you did caused him to fall down. So, I mean, you still know that you were wrong here, and so we have to deal with it. I said, okay, well, like, how? And they said, they suspended me for 10 days. So, which is, 2 full school weeks. And again, I should say, I don't fucking care. What do I care? You know what I mean? It's like, the only thing I don't want is I don't want to tell my mom. Okay, because, my mom finds out, that's going to, a whole fucking can of worms that I don't want to deal with. Because I think from other stories, you realize my mom, she doesn't fuck around. I mean, she just, But at this point, I'm 17, so she's going to kick the shit out of me. All I'm going to do is turtle up and just take a beating, and then that's fine, because that's what's going to happen. And it's happened before, so it'll happen again. But at the same time, I just don't want to tell her. So I get suspended for 10 days, starting that day. So they're like, all right, so you're done. You got to leave today, and which is also funny, because then I got to walk home, like, from school. I don't even get a bus ride. I'm like, all right. So I go home. So what I do then, because I have the suspension, my mom works during the day, okay? So that's why whenever they call my mom or they send her something in the mail, she never gets it, because she's never home to get the phone call, and I get everything out of the mail. Any referral, any report card, anything at all that needs to be stolen, I fucking light finger it right out of the goddamn mailbox. But a 10-day suspension, that's a tough one. I mean, I don't know what, because, I've been suspended before for like 3 days. Or 1 day or 2 days. And what it is what I will do, I will leave for school in the morning, and then I will go down to my bus stop, and then I will double back, and I will wait, and I will see my mom leave, and she will go to work. And when she goes to work, I just let myself in the house, and then I hang out all day at the house. And you just basically have to hope that my mom doesn't come home, but she's never coming home. My mom works in a grocery store. She's never leaving, and that's fine. So 10-day suspension is a little different. 10-day suspension is going to overlap some of my mom's days off. So I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do when my mom has days off. I can fake like I'm sick, but then there's always the possibility that she might say, well, you got to go to the doctor, and then I have to go to the doctor, and I don't want to go through that whole fucking song and dance. So what I plan on doing is something that I've done before in the past. I've done this before when I've been suspended and my mom's had the day off. I'll leave for school, and then I just get lost. I'll go to the library for the day, or I'll go to the store, and I'll hang out in a grocery store. And there's nothing more out of place than like a 15-year-old kid who is supposed to be in school, but now he's like at Wendy's in the daytime. It's like, why the fuck are you here, idiot? But I would do that. I would go and I would just walk, and I would find places to go. I'd go, to basketball court or anything, just because I know my mom is going to be home and she's not going anywhere. So I just have to avoid places that she's going to be. So, but this time there's going to be 2 days off, and I'm like, part of me is, horrified by it, because now I got to find a way to fill my time. But then I should tell you, part of me is excited because it's like a field trip. Like now because I think we know me, and we know that I like being sneaky and figuring things out. So the day, I'm suspended for like 3 of the days I spend at my house, and then it comes time for my mom's day off. So I leave for school. And when I leave, I go to the bus stop, and I'm like, man, what the hell? I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to go. Normally I'll plan it out, but with 2 days, you can't be seen loitering at the same place fucking 2 days in a row. So I decide, just go to the bus stop and walk and figure it out. So as I'm going to the bus stop, I walk past my friend George Arnold's house. And by friend George Arnold, that's a little strong. I should say that. George is a guy that I know from school. I know him from high school, and I know him from my bus. And I should tell you again, because this is my senior 5th year, he's out of school now. He's not in high school. He's off at college. And again, but I don't really know George. I just knew him from the bus. We weren't friends. We didn't hang out. I was never at his house socially ever. But as I'm walking by his house, his little brother Chuck goes to walk out of he's walking out of his house because Chuck goes to middle school. He's in 8th grade. And I know Chuck because he would come when we would play sandlot football or basketball, pick up in the neighborhood. He would show up and he'd want to play. So I see him. He's leaving his house and he's locking up. And I walk up to him. I go, "Hey, Chuck." He's like, "Hi, Mike." I said, "Hey, can you do me a favor?" He says, "What?" I go, "You know what? I missed the bus for school. I was going to go home, but unfortunately, I don't have my keys. Again, I don't know. I have. I think I actually told him I lost my keys, which makes no sense. I lost my house keys and I'm wandering around. Why wouldn't I go knock on the door? It doesn't make any sense. But I told him I didn't have my keys and I'd missed my bus. And I had a friend who was coming to pick me up. And I asked if I could wait in his house while I was waiting for my friend to come and get me. And he's like, "Oh, well, you know, I'm leaving for school." And I go, "Well, is anybody home?" And he goes, "No, nobody's in there." And I said, "Well, you know, your mom and dad are at work." He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Well, and you got to leave for school right now?" He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Well, dude, just let me wait inside. You go to school. I mean, you don't have to wait with me. Just let me wait in the house. And then, I mean, my friend will be here in like 20 minutes. And then I'll just lock up when I split, right? All I got to do is lock the doorknob." He goes, "Yeah." "Okay. Well, yeah, that's fine. That works out." So I said, "All right, cool. Thanks, Chuck." And he unlocks the door and he lets me in his house. And he goes off to school. And so I go in to wait for my friend who's picking me up. I don't have a friend picking me up. But now I don't have to go and hang out at the grocery store and the library all fucking day. Because I, folks, just bought a house. So I walk in, and it's weird because, again, you know, normally you're in school and you're in that weird routine, but now it's about 8:45 because he was going to middle school, which started at 9. So it's 8:45. I go in the house. I lock the door behind me, and I walk in and I just sit down in their living room, and that's my house. I hang out the entire day. I go through their cabinets. I go up into their room. I go into the parents' house, and I look under the mattresses. I look under the bed. I start looking through their family albums. And then I get a little hungry, folks. So I go in the kitchen, and they had a full box of Cocoa Puffs. I get a bowl of Cocoa Puffs. And I sit down, and I turn the TV on. And I start watching whatever's on. I mean, I'm just flipping channels, flipping cable. I'm in their basement watching TV, eating Cocoa Puffs. Again, this is my house. I finish my cereal. I go upstairs. And like I said, I go up to their bedroom. I start going through their closets. I go through every drawer in the house. Go in Chuck's room, go in George's room. I'm just looking. Basically, I'm a roach at that point. Because I'm like, you know what? I'm a pig looking for truffles. I just got my snout pressed into fucking everything in their goddamn house. I go in their closet and I'm looking through all their clothes. And like I said, I found their family albums. I watched their home movies.
Oh.
I go downstairs and they had a stack of videotapes. Because again, I've often learned. I think I told you this another story once where I was dog sitting. I'm looking for porn, folks. So I see a stack of videotapes. I'm like, all right, let's throw those in. I throw them in. Hey, they went to the Grand Canyon that past summer. Looks like fun. So I get myself another bowl of Cocoa Puffs. I go downstairs and I watch their home movies of them in the Grand Canyon. And riding burros and going up trails. And I'm just like, oh, this is fantastic. It looks like they had a great time. I'm a block from my house, by the way. Like, at any time, I could just walk out and go to my house and grab something. It's weird. It's like, no, I'm like, I got 2 houses. This is fun. So, yeah, I hung out in their house the entire day. Had some more cereal, watched their TV. Mailman came, and I will tell you this because I'm very excited. The mailbox was up by the door. So when the mailman came, I went right to the door, and because I heard him walking up, and I stood there, and so I had the thrill of knowing that there was nothing but a door separating me and the mailman. I'm a weird dude, man. It's like I love being sneaky. So I was like almost like, hey, look, guess what, David? I'm in here. You can't. You have no. I love when people don't know where I am. Like again, it's like as a child when you would like hide under the table or under the coats or something and nobody knew where you were and you could kind of eavesdrop or listen. That's what it was like. It was like, dude, I'm in this house and nobody can stop me. Uh, so again, I hung out. I hung out there the whole day, and finally around 2 o'clock, because I would normally be getting home from school around 3. Around 2 o'clock, I'm like, well, fuck, I gotta get out of here. So I washed my cereal bowl, and I tried to stack up the videotapes as best as I could, and I split. I wound up leaving about 2:30, and I went to leave, and I go out to the porch. I don't have any keys, so I leave, and I close the door, and it locks behind me, and I walk down there, the sidewalk, and it dawns on me that I washed my cereal bowl and spoon and I left it in the dish drain. I didn't get it out of the dish drain. I got it out of the cabinet. So I have to hope that they don't realize that a bowl and a spoon that weren't dirty in the morning not only had been dirtied, but somebody washed them and left them in the dish drain. But then in my head, I'm like, well, they're not going to notice that. How the fuck would they ever notice that? It makes no sense. So I left. Went home. My mom was there. Everything was fine. But it was cool to at least have one day where I didn't have to ditch school and go walk all over the fucking countryside. It was good to just have one day where I could have my own little headquarters and not have to worry about it. And the thing is, I can't go back. I mean, that's just ridiculous. It's not going to work twice in a row. It's stupid. So I'm just going to, the next day, I actually make a plan where I'm like, all right, now I got to do the thing where I got to go to the library and the grocery store and try to avoid the schools. And there was always the rumor of the truant officer driving around in his car trying to bust kids who were out that weren't, I have no idea. So you got to try to lay low. It's like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the challenge of not being noticed and trying to kill a whole day. On the run. But at the same time, I got to tell you, there was some sort of appeal to being able to just duck into a safe house and not have to worry about any of it. That was great. But again, I can't do that 2 days in a row. So the next morning, again, my mom is home, so I leave, and I walk down to my bus stop. And as I double back, I start to double through, and I cut in front of the, George and Chuck's house again. And as I'm cutting through, Chuck comes walking out of his house. And I see him, and in my head I go, well, I mean, he's not going to fall for this a second time, right? I mean, there's no way. But I walk up to him and I say, hey, Chuck. Oh, dude, thank you so much for letting me wait. I locked the door, right? I just wanted to make sure that I locked it. Everything was okay. He goes, oh, yeah, it was fine. And he goes, when did you leave? I go, oh, I left. It was like 10 minutes after you bailed. So I went ahead and locked it up and everything. He goes, oh, good. I go, do me a favor. I have to, can you let me in and can I do it again? Can I wait? Because I didn't need to go to first period tonight. So I didn't want to take the bus because it was just a waste to have to go to first period. But I have an important test second period. And my buddy Chris is picking me up. And he's the same guy who picked me up. He knows I was here yesterday. It just makes more sense if he picks me up here again. And he's like, oh, yeah, no problem. So he brings me up to his door, and he lets me in. And I go, great, I'll lock up when I leave. See you later. And I wave goodbye to a kid who lives there. And he walks off as I close the door to his house behind him, and I lock it. And guess what? 2 days in a row, I don't have to walk all over. It's great. So I immediately turn around, and I swear to God, I turn around, I'm like, like a new challenge. What am I going to do here today? So I immediately go into the kitchen, and I open up the fridge, and they had made a ham the night before. And so they had a big leftover ham on a platter. And in my head, I made a mental note. I'm like, I'm going to have a ham sandwich for lunch. That's going to be great. But first, let's have some Cocoa Puffs. So I actually go ahead, and the bowl and spoon are still in the dish drain. But they did dishes and put them on top of it. So I dig in, and I pull that bowl and spoon out, and I get another bowl of Cocoa Puffs. And I go in, and I start watching some I Dream of Jeannie. And I sit down, and I watch TV. So I'm in there watching TV, and I'm eating cereal. And I should say I go a little crazy because then I have more cereal, and I eat an entire box of Cocoa Puffs over 2 days. It would have been funnier if I would have eaten it gradually and then they would have seen it disappearing. But instead, I just eat the whole fucking thing and then I throw it in the garbage. I actually put the box of Cocoa Puffs in the garbage. I don't know why, but I did. I'm not. Again, I'm feeling brazen at this point because I'm in their house. I finished the box of Cocoa Puffs. I finished I Dream of Jeannie. I watched some more stuff in the morning, watched some TV. And it gets to be around 11 o'clock. I go upstairs and I resume my inspection. And I actually lay down. Because I'm tired because the night before I stayed up because I knew I didn't have anything to do the next day. So I stayed up all night so I didn't have to worry about going to school. So I actually lay down in the parents' bed. And I'm laying there and it's 11 o'clock and I'm like, you know what? Because I'm alone, folks. I think we know me. I think I'm going to jerk off. So now I don't find any of their porn. I don't have any porn. I don't have anything to start me up at that point. And I'm not, I mean, as excited as I am, as much of a hard-on as I have from just sneaking around their house, it's not that kind of a hard-on. There's different categories of hard-ons. This is not like a sex hard-on. This is a, fuck, I can't believe I'm getting away with this hard-on. So I'm very excited. So I need a little help. So there's no porn. I can't just jerk off. So I decide to call a phone sex line.
Oh my god.
So it's like 11:15 now. I'm upstairs in their house. I'd been laying there for like 15 minutes, and they one of those little flip clocks, so I'm watching the numbers flip. And because I know that I can't go to sleep. All right, I'm pretty much dead set against going to sleep because if I fall asleep, who the fuck knows when I'm going to wake up? I got no interest in oversleeping. And again, I think I've pretty much pointed out, Chris is coming to pick me up at any moment. So I wind up laying down. I watch the clock. It goes to about 11:15, and I'm like, well, I got to jerk off. Because again, I'm 17. Why not? So I call a phone sex line, and I dial it up from the phone right there in the parents' bedroom, and I'm laying in their bed, and I call up like a 976 fuck line, and we're you get patched through the operator, and it's a girl, and this time, thankfully. And it's so funny. Her name is Crystal. I will never forget it. Her name is Crystal. And she starts talking to me like, "Where are you? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm in my house." And she's like, "Oh, why are you? You're home at your house?" And I go, "Yeah." I said, "I'm a lawyer and I'm home from." Like I make up a whole backstory. I'm a lawyer and I'm home in my townhouse. And so she starts telling me to do this, all the, and I'll spare you, but suffice to say, I pull it out and I'm gonna jerk off in their house. And I'm ready to go. I've got a handful of it. I'm on the phone with them, and I'm listening to Crystal, and I'm ready to run off a batch. And then I was seized by morality. All of a sudden, for some reason, I had a flash of what the fuck I was doing. Like it dawned on me, like as if being in their house. I don't care about being in their house, okay? Because I like sneaking around and all that shit. But it just seemed like jerking off was going to be the ultimate insult to these people. Like, I couldn't do something like that. That's fucking terrible. I mean, all of a sudden, no, I'm a bad guy. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't care when I'm watching their home movies of the Grand Canyon. I don't care when I'm going through Chuck's drawers and, like, pulling out clothes to see if there's anything I can take, even though it would never fit me. Why am I going to steal his clothes? I mean, I'm in George's room. George is off at college, and I'm looking through his room, reading his yearbook. I mean, it's like I'm doing everything. It doesn't bother me at all. But then I'm sitting there with my dick in my hand in their parents' bed, and I'm like, yeah, this is wrong. This is probably wrong. So Crystal's still talking while I have this epiphany, and I go, Crystal. She goes, yeah, and I go, Crystal, yeah, I gotta go. And she's like, what? And I go, I gotta go. I forgot. I gotta work on this case. And I hang up the phone. I gotta work on this case because again, folks, remember I'm a lawyer, and I'm home during the day with nothing better to do than jerk off. But wait a second, hold on, forgot all about that case that has been sitting downstairs in my den. So I'm sitting up in the room, and I'm like, oh, man, and I hang up the phone, and like I said, I sheepishly put my cock away. I mean, there's no other way to say it. It was just kind of like, look down, I'm like, oh, you're an ass. Like, I felt really ashamed. You know what I mean? I actually felt ashamed that I would even do that. I was like this weird... I was seized by it. It was awesome. I mean, it was still great, the whole looking around, but the jerking off part of it was like, I can't fucking do that. So even I couldn't bring myself to jerk off. So I put my dick away, and then I just decided instead to go through the rest of their things. So I start I turned the TV on because they have a TV in the parents' room, and I got that on as I'm walking. I call sports phone. You can call sports phone, and then I'm going through their closet. I'm like looking through their, they had personal papers, and there were photographs. Like they had a box of old photographs of the parents before they had Chuck and George, and all this different stuff. And I got the TV on, and I'm upstairs again. It's a townhouse, so it's very small. You can see bedrooms right above the garage, and then there's a couple other bedrooms, and I got the TV on, and the garage door starts to go up. And I'm in the bedroom, and I hear it because I'm right above the garage. The garage door is opening. And I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. I freeze. And immediately I start to think about, well, I could dive out the window. Because if I go out the window, though, I'm on the roof of the garage. And who knows if they're in the driveway I don't know what they're doing. So the garage door is going open. I have no time. So all I can do is I immediately run and I hit the TV, okay? I don't even use the remote. There's it's one of those old school like TV pull buttons, and I hit that and it goes off. And I walk out into the hallway and I hear their car pulling into the garage. Now, it's not Chuck. Because Chuck's at school. It's not George, because George is also away at college. I could probably, if George or Chuck showed up, I could probably talk my way out of this. Chuck knows, that I was there, which is fine. If George sees me, he's going to be a little freaked out because he came home from college and why the fuck am I in his house when I only know him barely from school? But I'll tell him, what, Chuck let me in and I got a friend picking me up. So it's not George, it's not Chuck. I'm pretty sure it's not Chris. Because Chris was supposed to pick me up at 8:30 and never showed. So it's got to be the mom and the dad. So I hit the TV and I go out into the hallway. Now, let me set up the house. If I go downstairs, I'm upstairs. If I run down the stairs end right where the den is, where the garage door, where the door from the garage into the house is. So if I run downstairs, there's a good chance that they will open that door and see me standing there. So again, then I think maybe I can go out the window and I can get to the roof of the garage. And I mean, genuinely, I entertain this. Okay, I entertain running out the window and leaping and sliding down like A-teaming down the fucking roof of the garage and landing in the lawn in a barrel roll and running away. Okay. I decide I can't do that. I hear the garage open. Someone walks into the house. I go the only place that I can go at this point, because I don't want to go into Chuck's room, because what if it's Chuck and then I'm in his bedroom? The very fact that I'm upstairs makes this strange now. If I was downstairs, I could maybe go, hey, if it's George or Chuck. Not to the parents. The parents have no fun. All the parents know is I'm a goddamn burglar. They're like, who the fuck is this guy? Because I've never been there socially. They don't know who the fuck I am. If they saw me, they would freak. But I hear someone walk in. I'm upstairs, and I go the only place I can go. I go into the bathroom in the hallway. There's also a bathroom in the parents' room, okay? But I'm in the bathroom in the hallway. They have a half bath, but I'm in the full bath. And I get into the bathroom, and I hear someone downstairs. I hear them throw their keys on the table, and I hear them walking around. They open the fridge, and I can hear them moving around. So I'm in the bathroom standing there. I don't know what to do. But I can tell you that when you walk out of the bathroom, if you go to your immediate left, that's where the stairs to go downstairs are. So I'm just standing there in the bathroom, and I'm like, I can't hide in the bedrooms, because if they go in the bedrooms, they're going to find me. And then as I hear the person downstairs, I hear them start to come up the stairs. I'm a foot away from the stairs. So I do the only thing that I can do at this point. I get in the bathtub. And I hide behind the shower curtain, because the shower curtain was closed. I get into the bathroom and I hide in the bathtub behind the shower curtain. I've got my back pressed up against the wall. I'm in the farthest corner, so I'm under the shower head, okay? And I'm leaning, and I can see through a sliver into the bathroom. And I hear the person walking around outside. They go into the parents' room, so it's the mom or the dad. I don't know who it is. They go in there, and I hear them run water in there. So I'm like, all right, well, they're using the bathroom in there. That's fine. They turn the water off. And I'm standing in a bathtub. These people are walking around. And again, I should tell you, I'm scared out of my fucking mind. But it's also the greatest fucking moment ever because I love sneaking around. And this is the ultimate. This is like, if I get caught, I'm going to fucking jail. Like, this isn't even like a joke. It's the ultimate hide and seek. All right. So I'm in the bathtub, and I'm fucking scared. All I keep saying in my head is, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm leaned up against the wall, and I've got sweat pouring down my face. I'm just waiting because now I'm like, what if they don't leave? What if they came home from work early and then they're staying? How the fuck am I going to get out of here? Then I hear them walking in the hallway, and I hear them walk. They come in the bathroom where I'm hiding. And I don't know, like I said, I hear like clip clop, so it's heavy feet, like heavy shoes. And I hear them clomp into the bathroom, and they turn the sink on in that bathroom. And I'm now a foot away from this person. As I'm hiding in the bathtub behind, thankfully, what is a thick shower, shower curtain. And I'm leaning up. I can hear my heart in my head. I can hear it pounding. Thank God they turned the sink on, because I think they can hear the kong, because it's like, it's just fucking, I got telltale heart. So I'm leaning up against the wall, but I can see through the sliver, I can see there's a mirror in the medicine cabinet, and it's reflecting into, there's the other mirror too, but I'm looking, and I can see my eye, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And I kind of flinch. But they can't see me unless they'd have to lean way over. So I'm leaning over, and I can see my eye in the medicine cabinet mirror, and then I see the person go by the sink, and it's the mom. It's George and Chuck's mom. And she turns around, and she sits on the toilet. She sits right down to go to the bathroom with the sink on. And now I'm closer than a foot away from this person. If she... Look, have you ever been sitting on your toilet, and next to you is the shower curtain, and you just open it because you just want to see what's in the bathtub? Have you ever done that? I have. I mean, I've felt the presence of something, or I've just... Again, I scare myself, folks. I told you that. I get inside my own fucking brain. So I've done that a million times where I'll just open the shower curtain just to see what's going on. If she does that, she sees 6'2", 300-pound monster pouring sweat, staring at her with probably the craziest face he's ever made in his life, just frightened out of his fucking mind, staring. If she even reaches her arm out into the bathtub, she could touch me. That's how close I am. Imagine if your toilet, like if you sat down on this toilet, your knee would rest on the bathtub. That's how close she is to me. And I'm sitting there, I'm leaning back, the sink is on, and sweat is pouring down my face. Sweat drips off of my nose, and I can hear it hit my shoe. Like, it falls, even with the sink running, because I'm hypersensitive now at this point. I'm fucking Daredevil. I can hear everything that's going on. I can hear her going to the bathroom. I can hear the fucking sink on. I can hear her clearing her throat and turning the pages of her fucking magazine. And I'm sitting there, and I see sweat drip off my nose and land on my fucking shoe, and I hear it like, boink. I mean, I'm leaned back, and I'm tense and taut, and it seems like it goes fucking forever. I mean, it seems like forever as I'm standing there, 10 inches from this woman as she uses the bathroom in her own home and has no idea, no clue that I'm that close to her. I felt like Jamie Gumb, later on after I see the Silence of the Lambs, it's like when Jamie Gumb puts on the night vision goggles and he puts his hand in Jodie Foster's hair just to fuck with her. That's what after the fact, I realized that's what I felt like, because I'm that close to that woman. I can't believe she couldn't hear me breathe or hear my heart. But again, at the same time, she's coming to her home in the afternoon. She doesn't expect anybody to be in there. So she's not listening for sweat on a shoe. She's not listening for hyperventilating. She's not listening for a fucking heart that's pounding like a jackhammer. She has no clue. And she's oblivious. And thank God she turned the sink on, because I got to imagine she would have heard all of it. I can't believe she didn't smell the stink of fear in the goddamn room. So I'm in the bathtub. She's going to the bathroom, and It seems like it takes forever. And then she finishes, and she just pulls them up, washes her hands, turns the sink off, and leaves the bathroom. And I'm sitting there. Again, my heart is... And I'm now trying to figure out how I'm going to get out of the house. I'm hoping she goes downstairs, because I just assume now she's home. She's home for the rest of the afternoon, and I've got to get the fuck out of here. So I'm waiting. I don't move. I don't move at all. And not a fucking inch, not a muscle. I don't move. I'm just plastered to the wall of the bathtub, of the shower. And I hear her go in her room, and she's biffing around just a little bit upstairs, opening drawers, doing whatever she's going to do. And she walks out of her room. I hear her go downstairs. And I hear her in the kitchen, like, meandering around. And I haven't moved, again, still in the shower, just in case. Just in case she runs up as fast as she possibly can and finds me. I don't know. I'm not moving. And I'm still trying to ponder how to get out the window and barrel roll out of there. And like I said, I hear her downstairs in the kitchen. And what's funny to me is I know exactly what she's doing. Like, I know every inch of her goddamn house. I knew when she was in her room. I knew what she was doing. She's opening drawers. I'm like, oh, that's the dresser, because I heard those same noises when I opened those dresser drawers. And I hear her down in the kitchen. She's meandering. I know she's down there. Now she's going through the silverware. I know what drawer she's opened. I know everything about her goddamn house. And I hear her in the kitchen. And eventually, I hear the door close. And then I hear the garage door go up. And I'm still in the shower. I wait for the garage door to go down. And I carefully step out of the bathtub, and I walk, and I listen first. I lay down on my stomach on the floor of the bathroom, and I crawl out because I don't want to walk and make creaky noises on the floor. And because I'm a big dude, and I'm gonna, I don't want. If anybody's downstairs, I don't want them to hear somebody walking upstairs. So I softly get out of the bathtub. I lay down on my stomach, and I crawl out to the stairs. And this is a move I'm familiar with at my house, too, because my mom used to fall asleep on the couch. I live in the same kind of townhouse because, again, all of these townhouses are cookie cutter. They're exactly the same. So my mom would fall asleep on the couch when we were kids, and I would come out of bed, and I would crawl up to the stairs, and I would see that she was asleep, and then I would come downstairs and watch TV until she woke up and told me to go to bed. So I'm very familiar with this pose, folks. And I lay on my stomach, and I peek down, and I look, and I don't see anybody. And I walk down the stairs. Nobody. She's not in the house. She brought the mail in because the mail is on the kitchen table. And I look at the clock, and it's 1:20. So this whole thing took 50 minutes. From the garage door going up, I looked at the 12:30 clock in the bedroom, ran, hid. She biffed around, did her thing downstairs. By the time I got downstairs, it seemed like, again, it took forever, but it wasn't even an hour. It took 50 minutes. So it's 1:20. And I am soaking wet. Like my shirt is, you could wring it out. I'm so sweaty and freaked out, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, oh man, it was crazy. And then I look over on the counter, and there's a half-drunk Pepsi that I had opened and forgot about and drank and left on the countertop. And I'm wondering if she saw it, and if she, you know what I mean? Like, she registered, like, why that, because I had opened up a bottle of Pepsi and I had left it on the counter. And so now everything, like I said, I was worried about the bowl and the dish tray, but now I'm wondering if she saw the Pepsi. But obviously she didn't think something because she left. I mean, nothing's going on. So it's almost 1:30, and I'm like, well, fuck, I got to get out of here because I got to be home anyway by 3. So it's 1:30, it's 1:20, like I said, 1:25, and I take a breath, and I'm like, fuck, you got to get out of here. But man, I'm starving. So I go to the fridge, and I pull out the ham. And the only difference is I can't enjoy them in the comfort of my own new home. But I make myself 2 ham sandwiches. And I wrap them up in foil to go. And then I grab I grab the 16-ounce bottle of Pepsi. And there was the one that was halfway open, and I drink some more of that, and then I dump it out and I put it in the case, and then I grab another 16 ounce. It was those old school tall bottles of Pepsi, and I grab a bottle of Pepsi and I pop it, I open it, and I walk out, and I leave. Walk out of the house with a couple of ham sandwiches and a Pepsi, and the memories of when I owned my own house for 2 days. Yeah. So, and it's funny. I never. This was a story then I told my friends, and my friends, it's a go-to story. My friends were always like, "Dude, tell." Like one of those times when you're drinking in the summer and you're sitting in somebody's backyard. They're like, "Dude, you got to tell the George Arnold story. You got to tell that story." And then I'll tell the story, and then we'll all laugh uproariously and realize what a fucking dick I am. And I've never, it's funny, like, because now we're all, we're grown up. This is 25 years later, and I wonder, I wonder what Chuck and George would do, like, if they knew that story. You know what I mean? Because I don't know them, and I don't recall seeing George at the 20th year reunion at all. But part of me, if I had seen him, I almost would have wanted to go up to him and said, "Hey, how's your aunt?" Just to see his face and have him go, I don't know, what are you talking about? And then I would have been like, oh, well, when you guys went to the Grand Canyon, she couldn't go because she had that operation. And then just walk away. Just to see what his face, and just to see, or even to ask him, just to get into like a conversation with him and go, hey, did you ever call one of those phone sex lines? Because you know that they had to get that phone bill later, and that call was on there. Who called a phone sex line in our house at 11:15 in the morning? You got to figure they called the phone company and disputed and said, look, there's nobody in our house at 11:15. We're all at work and school. That couldn't have possibly been a charge that we would have accumulated. Meanwhile, Crystal somewhere is like thinking about the day the lawyer couldn't jack off because he had a case he had to get to. So if you're a little creeped out right now, I don't blame you, folks. But I can guarantee you this. You will never, ever use the bathroom without checking the shower again. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can get me at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You guys can follow me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can also follow Lily at Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp. You can also go to Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp and be her friend. You can go to Twitter.com/MNTs and follow her and get all sorts of information about the Monday Tees with their all-new secret code word implementation that they've got going on. And you guys also, if you want to send her a personal email, write to Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Zazzle.com/40-year-old-boy. Please buy all his stuff.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 clubs in Santa Monica and Vine. Lily.
Yes, see?
Who's coming this week?
Hopefully everyone.
Why the filth? Nobody wants to hear your filth.
Really?
Yeah, they are. Right now, they're blanching. Everybody's like, oh, that's awful. I can't believe she would say something like that after such an uplifting show.
It's the Madonna show.
Madonna.
All Madonna, all night.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So everybody's dancing to Madonna and doing Madonna-type themed burlesque stuff.
Yeah.
Now you're implementing, because normally Lily was sending out flyers to people who followed her on Twitter or on Facebook and all that stuff, and they would use those as a discount to get in the door. But from what I've heard now, as I've alluded to a second ago, there's going to be a new speakeasy type of code word deal where people can use that and save money.
Yes.
How about if we give that code word on this podcast?
Really?
Don't you think that would be cool?
That would be awesome.
Because then people will listen. Would be anybody who came, you'd be like, oh, they have inside info because they listen to the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast. What would the code word be? So someone comes up to the door, and then they see who's ever at the door. Is that you or is it whoever's running the deal?
This Monday will be someone else because I'm hosting.
Okay, but they know that this will be the code word and,
Yes.
and that they can save money.
Yes.
Okay, and what's the code word this Monday for Madonna?
Shanghai surprise.
Shanghai Surprise. So if you go to the Monday Night Teas and you go to the door and you say Shanghai Surprise, you will save money on your admission.
Yes.
And then you'll get to go in and see everybody do their Madonna type stuff where they'll be dancing around to Holiday.
No one's doing Holiday. Can
How
you
are they
believe
not doing
that?
Holiday?
I know.
That
I
makes
was like, seriously?
Because honestly, I thought the code word would be Holiday. Like that was the first thing that popped into my brain.
I wanted something obscure. So
Well, yours is
that-
great.
yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, Shanghai Surprise much better than Holiday, but it was the first thing that my brain went to. Did I ever tell a story about when I saw Madonna on
Did she
here?
blow you?
Wouldn't that be great? Christ, I tell that story every week. I know you guys are tired of hearing it, but no, when I bounced her at her show, and then I saved a celebrity from being bothered. I'll tell that story another time. All right, so keep that in mind, folks. You got that. You got that in the pipeline. So go ahead and follow twitter.com/MNTs, and you'll get all the information. Will you be sending out the code word via Twitter? Is that how that works?
Yes, it'll go out once a day leading up to the show.
Once a day you will get the code word. But if you listen to this show, you'll get the code word always here at this show at 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. So go ahead. And I also want to, so that's Madonna. And do you know anybody specifically? Like, what song are you performing to?
I'm not. I'm hosting.
Oh, you're hosting. Okay.
I will be hosting as Evita,
Evita?
and I will be hosting the second half from Papa Don't Preach.
Okay. So you'll be, who will you be? Danny Aiello?
No, I will be two of the Madonnas that are not covered during the show.
Oh, I see. Okay. So you'll be in full Madonna regalia. That's good. With your, how are you going to get a cone bra? You'd have to wear traffic cones. Seriously, you would have to wear orange traffic cones for a cone bra for you. You got a big rack. All right. So, folks, there you go. Go to the Monday Night Teas at the 3 clubs. Did I thank Goebel? I thanked Paul Goebel for having me on his 200th deal. I think I mentioned it, alluded to it earlier. We had a fun time this past weekend. I want to remind everybody to go to the West Side 86 Jokers and join the Mike Schmidt fan club there, the fan page, fan club. I don't know what it is called, but go ahead and join that and commiserate with people who also listen to the show and wonder why I do it. Don't want to forget to tell you folks that I'll be in San Francisco. It looks like it's going to be the Dark Room Theater on August 20th and 21st. I'll be there doing something. Still trying to figure out what it's going to be, but our friend Bucky's putting it together. 10 o'clock, August 20th and 21st. Tickets are not on sale yet because I have not thought of a name for the show, and I do not have the poster yet. I can't do that again. Max is out of town. I talked to him about it, blah, blah, blah. And so hopefully in a couple weeks we'll have all that squared away, and then the hype machine will be driven into overdrive, and the entire Bay Area will be thinking, wow, I can't wait to empty out the Castro as they all just come running over. And they're like, Jesus, we got to get our eyes on this prime beef of man. All right, so I don't even think that's true. And also, you know what, I'm going to throw this out there because, you know, last week I talked about Sean McTiernan and the column I did for him, and I mentioned his podcast. And, you know, I don't want to turn this into a crazy plug fest and all that for people, but I will tell you that there are people who've listened to me since I was on Never Not Funny, and they've been nice enough to have a lot of feedback and been very supportive. And now they've started a podcast called the Jaeger Bomb Cast. That's my friends David and Erica. And they're doing the Jaeger Bomb Cast. Mind you, I don't listen to the fucking thing, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. No, I'm teasing. I've heard it, and good for them, and I'm glad that they've started a podcast. And the reason I bring this up is because David actually wrote me and asked if he could pay me to mention it on the show, like to sponsor a segment. And dude, you have paid me by with support. I mean, seriously, he and his girlfriend Erica have not only listened every week, but written me every single week to with dude, we think you're great, like these encouraging letters and notes, and they've always been there. And you know, even on Facebook and in my personal email and even on MySpace, they've constantly been there. Even when I was doing Never Not Funny. And so, dude, I'll plug you. I mean, Christ, I owe you at this point. I mean, I'm glad that you've listened as long as you have. So go ahead and give the Jaeger Bomb Cast a try, and listen to my friends Dave and Erica as they try to be me. And good luck to the two of them. Although, quite frankly, after this week's show, I don't think they're going to have any interest in being me, because Lily looked at me when I was finished doing the story and stuff, and she goes, "That was really creepy, that story." And I go, "Yeah, I know, but it's all in good fun, kind of." And she's like, "Nah." She goes, "I'm sick to my stomach." And I guess I understand that. You know, it's funny. When I told that story on Never Not Funny, that's a story, by the way, that everybody writes and wants to hear again. So that was why I did it this week, because I knew, especially with Mex out of town, and Mex drew, I will tell you, when we first started doing the artwork, Mex drew a helicopter picture. and Mex drew the picture that you see associated with this episode, and he goes, when you tell those stories, and I know someday you will always have these pictures available so I can take the week off. So it just so happened that he had a week off this week, and I'm like, well, you know what? Then I'll tell a story to match that picture. And and it was in my head about how I was going to get into that story and ramp up, because usually I just get there naturally and organically. I'll talk, and then whatever we talk about, we get a picture drawn. But this time I was definitely going to tell something, and I had an agenda. And I'm not going to lie to you, it freaked me out for the first 40 minutes of this episode. But for some reason, it didn't stop me from talking for 40 fucking minutes. I hope to God that you hung around, and I hope the payoff was worth it. I know the opening where I'm talking about napkins and a rib joint. What the fuck was I talking about? I have no idea. All I know is I can't wait to hear it back and hate on it in fucking Graveyardville, and then listen back to the other story and go, all right, well, this was worth it. Because again, I guess it was worth it. I don't know. I never know, folks. And I always rely on Lily, and the fact that she's sitting here holding her gut, like literally clenching and going, I don't know how to feel about that story. And I'm like, I'm not asking you to feel good about it. Hell, I don't even know if I feel good about it. But it happened. And it's funny, when I told that story, Never Not Funny, 10 minutes. I think maybe 10 minutes. And with in and outs and people jumping in. And well, actually, because I told it in two separate episodes. I told the Reagan part in one episode, and then I told the other part in another episode. So I don't know, cumulative, who knows how long it was. It was too long. Whatever it was too long, because it was me talking that entire goddamn time. So there you go. That was why I was in my head for the first 40, because I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can't. I don't know how to just tell a story. Like, I can't, literally, there should be trumpets and fanfare. Like, I was thinking about it like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, when they would say, they would show the guys with the horns, and it would be like, "Tut, tut, 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 tut," and the guy would go, "The tale of Sir Robin." And then they would spin the tale of Sir Robin. So in this show, I kept waiting for fanfare. I think that's what it was. I should have done that. I should have had like, bum, ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da, the tale of the Arnolds. The tale. Why do I spit out this random bullshit that nobody fucking cares about? I am peddling obscenity. I am going to get a whole fucking army of you people, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to listen to me and then do nothing for an entire fucking week. I can't be trusted. Don't you people know this? It was like the Back to the Future of suck. I don't want to have a boner in somebody else's pants. I need to shoot up heroin and jog. Hey, ass fuck, are you listening to anything that I'm saying to you? Fuck, somebody's got to shut that old guy up. And I'm like, fuck you! I'm not a potato! I'm a goddamn cantaloupe! Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mike.